All right, JJ the CPA here. People were already making comments. It might have been up. Hey, real quick question. Everybody can hear us A-OK. Welcome to JJ the CPA Live. Really appreciate everybody being here. Just another day of clients calling me and asking me about PPP and how to get in line for the one that's coming ahead. Brian Graves, good to see you. Hey, were you all able to see this before I came on live?
I must have because they're commenting, so
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Cocktail time. I love it, Clay. Clay, did I answer? I thought I answered the question, and I saw your comment. Did I in fact answer your question? Hey, Brian. Okay, my youth mom had us on a strict schedule. Gene, I was going to go to a cheer. I love it. Yes, it did. Okay, good. All right, Coach's Pit Barbecue. Great to see you, John. Give me a J. I love it. Fred's going in.
Jason, the Dark
Stevie.
Water makes us on.
All right, Steve, Danielle. Let's see. Daniel said hi to you. He didn't say hi to me.
Hi, Daniel.
Falcoa, give me another J. Sam, what's going on? Good to see you all. Let's see. Chase told me I couldn't apply. Promoted you on Amazon seller. Thank you so much. Are we getting addicted? Hey, what's up, Koi? Let's see. What did that say?
Just shit my butt.
All right. Thank you, Blair. I appreciate that. And thank you, Steve. Say it again.
I thought you asked me a question.
Oh, no. That's not a joint. Homer Dog, let's see. Seems to benefit, yes. Homer Dog, yes. Let's see, 30 billion. I suspect the place to look for money and likely will run out last. Yes, Thomas, hello. All right, CPA, Shannon Sims, thank you so much. Thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate that.
Sarah K.
Nancy, Sarah K, good to see you. Kathleen, hey JJ, good afternoon. Away from Kansas, I love it. Kelly, you like the coaching video, good. I had Amanda watch it. I was I was here by myself. Amanda wasn't here at the time, and I thought, I'm just gonna give it one. I'm just gonna do it. If people don't like it, they don't like it. So. Let's see, Fred, good day. Got your t-shirt on Monday and both of your books today. Thank you so much, Fred. I really appreciate that. Guns N' Roses, love it. Really appreciate that. Tammy, thank you. Let's see.
Our Grace Cross, professional organizer from California, she said the coaching video had her in stitches.
Hey, I don't know if you guys ever remember Matt Foley on Saturday Night Live. There was a little Matt Foley coming out, and I've had a few that have commented, that they really appreciated the ones where I was kind of putting the fire underneath, and then I immediately finished that up, took a deep breath, and then I did the next one, which was more smiles and I had the heart and all that good stuff, and so JG, hello.
Linda Hayes, the mom of the left-hand pitcher, is here.
Oh, I love it. Nancy H, got to get the hourly fix. I really appreciate that. Hello from the Pacific Northwest. Tammy grew up in Mount Lake Terrace. All right, Tony, what's up? Ready for Whiskey Wednesdays? Oh, that sounds kind of good. I like it. Yeah, Tony got his book today. David P, what's up? James Carter, appreciate you as well. Thank you so much.
Cole got his PPP money on Monday.
Nice. All right. Excellent. Let's see. RK is a credit on 7,200. Do you get a check from the IRS direct? You do. You fax it to them. Let's see. Al, hello, Enterprises. Called my bank today and make sure I was still in the loop. Well, good. I'd follow up again and again. I just don't want anybody to get left out of this one. Let's see. Tiffany P, how do these clients rehire these employees? So if they have, employees that have left and they've got employees that are on unemployment and they need help and they bring on another employee, there should be no issues with that. I think what it comes down to is that the overall, payroll needs to be consistent with what it is in the past. If you hire somebody new in addition to your regular staff, you do it, but it may not just lead to full forgiveness on everything. Let's see, Dark Waters, yes, excited for another shot of PPP, new bank up to the plate. I love it. Let's see, Our Grace, let's see. Oh, here we go. Our Grace. Hiya, JJ from California. Oh, yeah, there you go. Coaching video had you in stits. Love it. Phil G. What's up? What's up? What's up? C. Manuel from Puerto Rico. Hi, CPA. I love it. I love it. Let's see. We got Joe. Got your book in the mail today. Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate it. Every one of you. Tony sent me a picture of his book that arrived today. I really appreciate that. Tony and I are going to have something special to announce next week. We're excited for that. Andrea, hello from California. I was born in Venice. Spent time in Canoga Park and East LA and Torrance and amongst other places. But I did leave when I was about 5 years old.
Anthony Garcia is a young aspiring CPA learning
All right.
a lot. And
there you go.
Guess who is here? Backyard barbecue.
Backyard barbecue.
Steven
Bada boom.
and his
Bada boom, bada
fiance.
boom. We got a nice email from them. So we're excited about that. Thank you so much. Let's see. If we paid a utility bill via credit card before receiving the funds and not paid the CC statement, can we pay that expense on the CC from the PPP? You know, if you put it on the credit card, that's probably fine. But it does need to be the period of time within that 8 weeks. Best we know now. You know, the banks are kind of, I had a nice conversation with Tony and then Julio, CPA from Florida. Holy moly.
Gosh.
There's like a waterfall coming off my roof right now. But anyways, you know, maybe they'll come out with some easier standards, SBA, but right now the banks are kind of clamped up on that. So the best we know is from the law. It's all we can rely on right now, which is that it needs to be during the period of time. But, you know, on utility bills, it's almost kind of like, well, I mean, I don't want you to hang your hat on it, but it's almost like, well, I mean, the 8 weeks is 8 weeks, you know. My banker said, you know, they think it's just really going to be, you know, bring 2 utility bills, you know, bring 2 months of rent. So at the end of the day, I don't think you really go wrong using PPP funds for a qualified expense. Just know that if you were to pay that now and then pay 2 more bills, you know, it will be based on the 8 weeks in essence that you used it. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see, Mr. Debo, can you talk about self-employed independent contractors, how the money can be used for those people that drive and travel for a living? You bet. Let's write that one down, self-employed. Let's see, Baviv. Hi, got my 1K from the SBA. Should we apply again? Absolutely. When they replenish that EIDL, get in there. You know, talking with somebody today, in fact, they did reapply. They got a new number. Talk about self-employed and qualified expenses. Let's see, Amber Green. Do we know when the next PPP is coming down the pipeline? That's what my stepdad would say. You're like, bring it down the pipe. Is there a time to apply, or did I miss the first go around? You did miss the first go around, best I know. And we don't know. Conversing with a few CPAs via email. You know, right now where it is it passed the Senate, right? So 4:10 Central Standard Time on April 22nd. It's passed the Senate, not the House. So we're expecting it to be. I don't really want to speculate, but I put clients on notice, like maybe this is going to go into play on Friday. Who knows? Let's see. Thanks again. I know I am. All right. Thank you again. I really appreciate that. You rock. If you already got EIDL app and didn't get loan, reapply. Yes, but wait for the second funding to go online. In fact, you can't even go there now and get any of it. Meaning, if you go to the SBA.gov, I just checked. Well, I didn't check within the last 3 hours. Let's say that, but it says funds have lapsed. But I will tell you this: once they replenish it. Get on there if you didn't get your 10K, if you didn't get the full 10K. So you enter in the same information, your EIN, number of employees, and then see what happens. Give it a whirl. You know, worst happens is they don't change their philosophy on that, and all you get is the amount that you got previously. All right, wow, got lots here. Oh, can I see comments on this? Because my arm's starting to get tired here. Holding up here, we got so many comments. I love it, I love it, I love it. Appreciate it. Let's see, Fresh Prince. Yeah, I got to go back. Let's see. All right. Yeah, wow, we got so much. Were you channeling Barry Switzer? I love it, Gary. You know what? I hadn't thought about Barry Switzer, but I'm going to say, yeah, you know, being from Oklahoma, let's do that. Let's go with that. Whew. My hands are... So I want to go back up to the comments, pop out the chat. And thank you, Amanda. Amanda, have you been able to say hi to everybody?
I have not.
You have not? Why don't you say hi a little bit here? Let me catch up on some of these real quick. We got the dual mics. Do a little mic test.
We do have dual mics. We will do a little mic test.
You're not going to say hi to everybody and welcome them and tell them to subscribe and thumbs up. And everybody wants to start hearing from you. You know, once they've heard enough from me, they want to start hearing more from you.
What's up, people? We have 240 people on and
Oh,
only
wow.
28 thumbs up. So please give us some thumbs up. All that does is bump up JJ's video so other people can see it. Just a way for you to give back. I hope everyone is doing well. It has been raining and weirdly kind of cold here in Oklahoma today. Also, I love you guys too, Erica. Seth Denson is on and he says, looking sharp today, JJ.
Hey, you know what? I'm going with kind of a, you know, little rugged look today. It's kind of cool in here.
It is. It has
It's been a little cool here.
Yeah, it has. That is so awesome. Thank you, Stephen, for passing us on so that way other friends can join. Diana Beck from Allegro Tax Services. So glad that you are here.
We got Shantae Wolf, hello from California. Nancy Torres, question. With an LLC, only me, can I apply for EIDL and unemployment? Yes, EIDL is not up and running. If you use the EIDL for other purposes, you can. Unemployment may be in your state. Stephen, you got 4 friends watching. I love it. They've got a little gathering, rocking and rolling here. We got Kent. How many people are in line to have apps in? How many raising your hands? Yesterday people were saying they were already applying with PayPal. So I'm not sure how that's working, but go for it. I know that there's other banks that are saying, hey, we're taking applications for round 2. Let's see, Blair, living in a van down by the river.
People said they wanted to see my face.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's really you.
I was saying hi.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see, Blair's, Stephanie, hi from Texarkana. You bet. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Oh, good. Kathy started getting the 600. Thank goodness. I don't know why it's taken so long. Tiffany P, thank you. I appreciate that. Richard, hey, Coach, I love it. All right, good. That went over then. That went over well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made Amanda watch the whole thing.
Of course it did. It was awesome.
Well, I told Amanda, I said, you know what? Thank you so much, Ruby. I was like, you know, all I can do is be me. And if I feel like that I need to do something, then I'll do it. And then I thought, well, I'll do this and I'll do a friendlier version, you know, something, you know, there's not everybody wants to get in the huddle. So anyways, let's see.
Everybody needs to be in the huddle because this isn't something that everybody can sit on. This is something, you know, just as you said in your video, this is your family. This is your livelihood. This is your employees. This is how your children, you know. So yeah, it was something that was really needed and I'm glad that you guys really liked it.
Yeah, well, good.
Lots of PayPal stuff. So
okay, got a lot of people doing.
Amanda from Flying Colors.
I love it.
Darling.
Let's see, we got Dax. Hello, my friend, back again. I appreciate that. We got Christine from Maine. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's see, T. Edwards. Good day, everybody. Stanell, the money therapist. Oh, I like that. I'm liking that.
Therapist.
Hi, the CPA. Yeah, the truth. I love it. I love it. Joel, applied PPP and EIDL at the same time. Got 2K on the EIDL, PPP. Promissory note on PPP. I only had to certify no EIDL at the time, PPP. will I have to pay the IDL advance back? Probably how that's going to work out is at the end, the amount that you got on the EIDL, that amount wouldn't be forgiven on your PPP. But if you can show that you spend it on other things besides what are the qualified expenses with the PPP, then you might be able to do both. For the longest time, I mean, all I could do was say what the law was, which was you didn't get to do both if you did the EIDL. In essence, it should have reduced down your PPP. Long story short, disclose it, at forgiveness time. But the reason to disclose it at forgiveness time is to also show, though, how you used it for other things besides the payroll, utilities, etc., because you can use it for additional things. Let's see. When do banks work on Sunday? Let's see, Gene, why does the bill have to always finalize on Fridays when banks, they work on Sundays? Let's see, Augie, I think you said hi. Fresh Prince 24, hello, JJ, my wife's a sole proprietor, self-employed, and they gave her unemployment benefits on the 18th, but she all of a sudden got money into her account from the PPP. You just probably need to check with your state on that. I mean, the PPP is meant to, in essence, cover the amount that you're losing for Paychex Protection. What I've told people in the past is, well, when do I know I can get the unemployment if I got the PPP? There's really no rationale. There's nothing out there that says it unless your state says it. I kind of look at it as, once your PPP funds have been exhausted, how do you determine that? Well, what are your monthly expenses? So there's really no right answer on that. If you didn't get a lot of PPP, there's ways to rectify that. Maybe you just stop unemployment sooner. I'm at a little bit of a loss on that one. I don't think there's anything wrong that you applied for both because they were uncertain. So maybe just check with the state. Check with the state website, see if you can find something. But just know this, when you go to the bank at the end, you do have to bring your unemployment benefits that you did receive, just as an FYI. So you might also follow up with the bank, because in 1106E, it indicates what you're bringing in front of the bank is all these documents, including any unemployment filings, insurance that paid out. So at the end of the day, just make sure you're disclosing it. M. Salazar, thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate it. We got 77 thumbs up. Let's see, we got 282 people on right now. I really appreciate that. Let's see, Cantina Wells checking in from Detroit. I love the coaching video, raw and real, all the passion to help people. I applied to Cabbage today and waited on BOA too long. So we know that the House is still to vote on the PPP 2.0. Included in that is going to be 60 billion going to the smaller banks. What I like is that in basically the expansion, I mean, it's a 25-pager that the Senate passed, and really it's not anything new. It's just replacing language or adding language to the existing CARES Act. So, for instance, when it talks about in section 1102, and it indicated that there was 349 billion before, well, now it says that it's going to be 659 billion. And then Tony, what's up? And then if we look, they've added some clarifications of what banks it goes to. Let's see, Tucson, it's Jay from Tucson, Arizona. I love it. But the one thing to note, though, is that I didn't read anywhere in there, though, that it's still a 10 million cap. It seems really high. I was talking with someone earlier today, and we were both commenting that was such a high cap, and then you have, publicly traded companies that, technically qualify, but you wonder if they did, because you do have to certify that you're in economic issues. So who knows on that, but I was kind of hoping in the next round that they weren't going to allow up to 10 mil. Let's see. Okay, David P. My PPP loan was approved on the 20th after applying on the 9th. Wow, love it. I'm so glad. T. Edwards received my EIDL on yesterday. I'm glad. If you didn't get the full 10 when they replenish, I'm telling, my advice is to go reapply unless they say that it is going to be 1,000 per employee as we move forward. And quite frankly, I don't think I ever saw anything official on that 1,000 per employee. It was a bulletin that came out of Massachusetts, but I don't think I ever saw anything. I know there were some individuals that called the SBA and reported back that yes, it is 1,000, but they never officially came out and said any of that. Let's see. Fresh Prince, I think I answered that. Nancy, if I apply for EIDL, can I apply for the unemployment in Florida? So here's what I'm saying. You know, when you go apply for the unemployment, don't wait. Go apply for it. It's going to ask you the questions in that state. The federal government providing the PUA, you know, if there was a limitation to it, then they should be asking about it. So I'm not saying that you can go double dip. All I know is what my interpretation is. My interpretation is PPP is Paycheck Protection Program, meaning it's paying you the income that you lost. And then when you're getting, you know, PUA, in essence the same, but you know, you can get PUA and still be partially open, because if your income reduces down, you got a stream of income that's gone away, then you're in a position where you potentially can get the PUA, but you have to just go through the application process. But I will tell you this, on the EIDL, it can be used for purposes other than payroll. So PPP is payroll, insurance, retirement, utilities, rent, the interest. EIDL can be literally like cost of goods sold. Like for restaurants, getting the EIDL is huge because it can be used for cost of goods sold. So that's why I'm getting a huge message out. I'm hoping to say the next round on the EIDL, if you didn't get your full 10, reapply. If you have PPP funds now, you got them in round 1, go apply. You just need to show that it was used differently. There were different set of rules going into PPP 1. Well, we're done, we're past it, unless they come out with any different clarification, which I did not see on the new bill. So when you're looking at now the next round, if you didn't get EIDL, you're still in economic circumstances that you need it, then go apply for it. If you didn't get the full 10 grand, go apply for it again. The SBA knows you already applied. There's not really a way to double dip, because they'll then just not give you any more money if they're still doing it based on 1,000 per employee. And then if you saw, you all saw in the coaching video, and then what I call the other one, just a softer touch or something like that. But what I'm indicating is do the EIDL. If we know it's 1,000, then just disclose it on your app. If you already put your PPP app in, let it stand, go for the PPP. When you get the PPP funds, if there's still EIDL, do that. Because here's really what kind of came out of all of it, in my opinion, is that if you're using EIDL for other expenses, and you can show that, how do you show that? I don't know. They don't give us any guidance, but find a way to show that. Set it up in a separate account. Somehow make sure you're showing it on QuickBooks, which, by the way, I started to do a video last night. It was about 2 a.m. Amanda was already asleep, so I didn't want to wake her up, but I couldn't get my mic to work on my computer where I can do the dual screen. So
that was the universe telling him to go to bed, which I think he still didn't for like an hour and a half later, but he was trying.
Oh, and I had told you that I was going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I said I'm going to bed.
I'm going to go to bed, probably around midnight or so.
I just got fired up. I shouldn't have done those. I shouldn't have done that coaching video. All right, BKA, keep it going. Great work. Thank you so much from Nashville. All right, maybe I guess we're not set for Nashville yet. The last 2 years we've been in Nashville in mid-January, talking with CPAs. Let's see. Yes, I know I am. Many applications say do not contact bank or local branch. Should we keep firing off emails even though they don't get a reply? I'd just go get a different bank. If you're not getting a reply, you got your application in, see what happens. I don't know about PayPal and I don't know about Intuit and all that. And I'm not saying I don't think they're any good, but it's just, I literally have no idea, which one of these are going to hit, going to pop. But yesterday what I was saying is, maybe open an account with a local bank if possible. I know the lobbies are closed, but is there a way to get an account open with them, do the PPP? Local banks around here are taking on customers to do PPP that aren't customers. And someone I think had kind of pointed out that nothing in the law requires you be a customer of a specific bank. You don't necessarily have to have a business account. So, I've told a couple of people, they're like, what should I do? What should I do? And I just said, stop panicking, stop asking me, like take some action here. Let's go find another bank, I think Jason, probably, I don't think he'd mind me saying, but I think he called 14 banks. I mean, you talk about someone who's running through a wall. So anyways, if you're not hearing back, then how are you even going to withdraw your application? I know Tina and I were, back and forth on the comments yesterday, and I'm with her. You don't want to officially apply in two places. If you applied somewhere with PPP1, they're not replying to you. You don't know anything. Go find another bank, because at the end of the day, if had a couple other CPAs said, well, if somebody ends up their application somewhere with PPP1, they go somewhere else for PPP2, somehow they both fund. Then you just tell the bank, that didn't get it done the first go, like, hey, listen, I didn't apply. You didn't want me to email you. There was no way for me to withdraw it. And by the way, I don't think that at all that the banks are going to necessarily automatic just put you in just because they had an app from PPP1. I don't think you should assume that at all. What did Jason just say on Deep Waters?
Jason said some banks are taking new customers. Took me 14 phone calls to different banks. Took me 14 banks to find one after my first bank didn't move my app. Just look up bank on Google and start calling.
There you go. You can also go to SBA.gov, and if you go and look at lending options, you click on the 10,000. You click on the PPP option, which you don't get PPP at SBA.gov. You pick on the PPP option, and when you click on that, it then brings up let's see, what do you think the battery's at? Should we switch it out?
I mean, we're at 40%, so yeah, we should probably switch it out.
Okay,
a little
so with that being said, if you are, what was I talking about? I was talking about what Jason said.
At 14, going to SBA.gov.
Yeah, thank you. So go to SBA.gov, and we're gonna have to go off the microphone here for a little bit. I didn't charge up my phone, so hopefully you all can still hear us okay. But go to SBA.gov, go to PPP. When you click on that, let me move some of this. Got all these drinks. When you
And
go
none
to,
of them are whiskey.
I know. What are we doing here? Okay, I'm going to finish this thought. You go to SBA.gov, go to PPP, click on it, but then there'll be a spot where it says Find Lenders, and you can click on that, and it gives you a list of SBA lenders is what that's doing there for you. So it does need to be SBA, but what I would be doing, do exactly what Jason just said. I mean, Google Bank, in your area, right? But then, click on their website, because I have had a few banks here locally send me emails just saying, hey, by the way, we're taking on new PPP apps, because they already did all the ones. Now these are banks that did 375 or 500 of them. So they're taking on. So my point is check out the website. Now I'll just tell you this, if it's go to a portal, update this, it's not talking to somebody, while I don't think you totally pass on it per se, it might be your only option. I would say if you can contact somebody, you can talk to them. I mean, that's going to be a winner for you if you can do that. So, all right, Anthony Garcia. Okay, you talked about that. Young, aspiring CPA, learning a lot. Hey, you bet. Let's see, young, aspiring CPA, we need you. Don't leave the profession. Even if you decide you're not going to be in public, always maintain those 3 letters. My grandfather, who was a CPA, Omar Abbott Slater, CPA, had his own practice over 55 years. He was definitely my mentor. Passed away when he was 74. He had a mild stroke, got in a car accident, and it was the car accident that actually caused him to not continue with us here on earth. But anyways, he was still practicing to that day. It's a great way to help people, and when you carry those 3 letters as a CPA, no matter kind of what you're doing, whether it's church planting or on the soccer team, as a coach or whatever, when people, see the 3 letters, it just brings a different sense of people just kind of already have a good idea of who you are then, and kind of what you stand for and all that good stuff. So anyways, make sure you're always maintaining those. Hopefully you're going to continue to follow. And I will tell you this, you've never met a CPA quite like me, but I don't think we've ever met a CPA quite like Anthony Garcia. Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's unique. Everybody's unique.
That's
Hey,
right.
we had Mike from Simi Valley, who's a CPA, and then we had Bill, who's a photographer.
Yeah, and we had Dudley
And Tina, Tracy sent us pictures
and Dudley.
and Dudley of them with their JJ the CPA shirts on there. So we really appreciate that. Let's see, my pop out went away. What happened here? What did I do? I completely foobarred. So the thing to note is this, real quick on the EIDL, thank you so much. On the EIDL, I've been telling clients this, that it might be like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. that the EIDL comes on. And the reason I say that is that when they announced that the EIDL, so to speak, went away, it had to be around 4 a.m. that they cut it off, because it was 2 a.m. Right around 2 a.m. I was putting together an email for some clients to get them revved up and ready to go to be able to do the EIDL first thing in the morning. They had gotten their PPP and they were going to hardly get anything. And so I said, well, let's get the EIDL for these other companies that can't qualify for PPP anyways. You might only get 1,000 a piece, but let's do it. And long story short, I got their email ready to go, and then I go back to the SBA website. It's around 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was going to make sure that I had the link right or something, and then it said, boom, funds have been lapsed, or lapse in funding. And then when these changes came into play, they seem like they're in the middle of the night. So anyways, I've got a few clients. I said, keep your phone on, put me on the special ring, because if we see it, I'm gonna let you know so that you can apply for it. Oh wow, look at this. Let's see, I'm at the top of where I can go. Integrity Fleet Services, thank you so much. Carol, if EIDL shows up before PPP, what can I use it for? Anything in your business besides what PPP is used for. So cost of goods sold, even when you read it, it can be used for payments on loans. So whatever other expenses you have, just try and trace it. See, M. Salazar, the SBA website stats on the PPP indicate only 15 lenders. Wow. Okay. That might be lenders. I'm not sure quite what you're looking at, because I do know that when I was looking at the website a couple weeks ago, and I kind of deciphered, because I was just looking in my area, it might be the ones that are on the website are only the ones that are open, but I don't know about the stats. You might be looking at something different. What happened? Someone made a funny?
Yeah.
What'd they make? You don't get to tell me? Am I just going to have to run across it?
Guns N' Roses asked if Amanda was single, asking for a friend. And then Crash and Burn says JJ stopped going live at the same time as the president. So Crash and Burn, we actually started going live at this time before the president did.
Yeah.
So you'll have to take that up with Trump, because we already reserved this time for JJ.
And Amanda's all mine.
And I am
Amanda is my soulmate. So I appreciate you asking. She'll take it as a compliment.
I will.
For sure. We appreciate that. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay, so Jason, Darkwater Megs. JJ, do you think the House could modify before housing to require a new PPP app, new restrictions? I think so. And that's why I've been on alert that if they're going to change it, and if you all remember on Friday, April 3rd, when it went live, banks arrived to the office and had a email from the SBA, and they're like, oh, new application. And so everybody was just scrambling. It was almost like the race has started, but by the way, you don't get to use cleats now. You got to use tennis shoes. And so everybody's scrambling to the locker to get their gym bag and get the different pairs of shoes out and try and get back to the race. So we're going to pay attention to that one for sure. I'd be surprised, and the reason I say that, Jason, is that it seems like it's just they're replacing language. But then I wouldn't be surprised because last time with the CARES Act, the Senate had everything laid out. I did a number of videos based on a few parts of the calculations. And then when the House came in, it was cinched up a little bit more. So I think if there are some different restrictions, I'm hoping it's restrictions on the dollar amount that can be loaned out, like maybe it's 5 million or 3 million or something like that. They might add more restrictions to the lending institutions. But I don't think it'll be a change for what we would have to do as the borrower, as the consumer, as the grantee, so to speak. I hope not. And that was more on the SBA side as well. SBA came up with that new application. So we will be on red alert. I'll probably be in a dead panic of getting videos up based on what we learn as soon as it's coming live and when we go live. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, Jason. CM, thank you. Let's see, Bushfire Chef. Hi, JJ. Also Tucson. Sorry, I'm catching up now. Samuel. Oh, I'm in Oklahoma too. Love you guys. Thanks for all the help. Thank you so much, Samuel. Oh, Kenda's on. Boom. I'm hearing the PPP apps will ask for more disclosure in the second round. Oh, okay, well, yeah, so Kenda's heard some things. I just haven't come across anything. I did ask a couple of the banks here, and I think the banks are getting a little more rigid on not speculating, and so more of the response was like, well, we haven't received anything. So I definitely think we want to be alert. I do think on the disclosures, the second round might just more, I'm not sure what Kenda thinks, but I think it might be more, there's more disclosures, but it's now implementing what the SBA came out with on the 3rd, the 6th, the 8th, and the 14th, meaning maybe incorporating that into the application. But boy, I hope not, because think of all the people that have already been applying at the banks now. I will tell you this though, I had a bank. You talk about gunslinging bank, right? You got me here in Oklahoma. We still ride horses to the office, but there was one bank and they came out with the new app, and and I was talking with the banker and I was like, hey, do we need to get the new app? And he's like, no, I mean, the clients have already given us the PPP apps. He's like, we'll update it on the backside. No, we got all the information that we need. We'll just take down the information. We'll know, okay, they want to know if it's an S, we'll get that. They want to know this, because nothing had changed, at least that they thought, in terms of the certifications. So I love that bank, right? You gotta remember, we got OSU Cowboys here, Pistol Pete.
I love it.
Yeah. We're not as gunslinging as Texas, but Samuel knows.
Close.
Yeah, Samuel knows. All right, let's see, Regal, IMG. If you get PPP and unemployed, can you hire your wife with PPP money and keep the unemployment firm a sale? I don't think you'd be able to do that or get away with it, and just more because when you show up to go through the bank with it, they're gonna see that and you're like, eh. So I'm just gonna put a ruling on it as no. I mean, it's not gonna fly. I appreciate the thought. Let's see, Ken is saying disclosure of gross receipts. Gotcha. Yeah, instead of just on the net. Martinez, accounting service, thank you so much. I heard that BOFA is being sued because they were giving PPP out to their biggest clients. Yep, they are. There's a couple other banks that are getting sued because mostly the lawsuit is to review the order of applications. So I was talking to somebody and they said that they were number 7, or their number was number 7 at the bank, and it was like near the tail end before they actually even said, hey, you're approved, you're in, your money's coming. Let's see, Bruce, question, are sole proprietors getting unemployment when their business is hurting a lot? Yes. So check with your state on that. Let's see, Net Salazar, 342 billion net approved dollars. Let's see, with Augie, finally heard from Wells Fargo yesterday, and they want it from my 941 and 2019 business taxes. Should I reply for the PPP? Well, Augie, if you're self-employed, then you're not going to have those things. Quite frankly, many of the banks, obviously you would need the 941s if you have an employer, you're doing a separate tax return, but a lot of the banks here even were saying, They wanted to see something from 19, but most of them were just taking financials. And then few of the banks I was working with were like, well, that's not required. We're not asking for it. Wells Fargo's a big bank. So all I can say is, I can't tell you to leave them, because then if I tell you to leave them and then you didn't get to another bank in time, you might look at a backup plan. You might check out the coaches video that I did, getting in the coaches huddle, where I say I'm getting up in your grill. Let's see. Okay, so Doug, I want you to go check out my video. I've got a playlist called PPP Self-Employed, okay? And I address the very issue, and I've got worksheets on my website, so check those out. Let's see, Al Wally Enterprises, can we get private consultation with you? Well, I'm honored by that. What I've decided is, until we're through the crisis and the doors are back open, I'm just going to continue doing it the way that I'm doing it. I wasn't bringing on new clients. I haven't brought on any new clients. I think I brought on one last year. It was another client that just begged me to do it. So I've been downsizing my practice. I helped 4 other CPAs start their own practices by giving them clients and free office space while they got it started. So I've been downsizing as I've gotten more into doing seminars and speeches, and I've got a couple other side businesses. And so this was all very unexpected, but I'll just say this. I don't know how, I just got to think it through, but I am thinking about doing some group consulting, just from the standpoint of it might be cheaper for everybody, and maybe setting up a group of 10 businesses that I'm able to help, but like as a group consulting kind of thing, where it's, maybe once a week or something to that effect. I hate to even say it, I don't think I really have time to do the one-on-one unless it was a one-time hit. But I really appreciate that. Stay tuned for it. But I really didn't set out to do any of this. I didn't want to bring on any clients. All the calls I've gotten at the office, I appreciate in emails, and I've said, I'm not taking on new clients. So right now I just want to help people, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Daniel in Texas, I didn't get RE. Daniel, what's RE? Carol, SBA sent saying 1,000 per employee, 10,000 max. Client got it for the number of employees, but not for themselves. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure on that, Carol. Typically, I've been telling people to include themselves, even if they're not on W-2 wages, only because we haven't had any other guidance. And then a couple of CPAs who have indicated they've either heard it or heard directly from the SBA. So even if they're doing it on their real estate business and they're the one owner, 2 owners that they're putting down, quote unquote, 2 employees. But until unless the SBI gives us better guidance, it seemed logical to me. Mike Case, the EIDL loan and grant side, does it have to be rolled into the PPP? If it was just the grant, I got 1K PPP approved on the 20th. Document for other purposes. Okay, Daniel, ignore that. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see, David Dez, as I see PPP as a loan until it's actually forgiven. Yeah, I was talking with somebody today. It is actually a loan, meaning I was unraveling this. And it was actually with Tony, and Tony and I were unraveling it. And, basically whatever doesn't get forgiven, the interest starts ticking when you got the money, right? So if it gets forgiven, there's no interest. But if you have an amount that's not forgiven, then there's the interest that's been ticking from the beginning. Let's see, Samurai, JJ, I help. I missed PPP. Number 1, Compass Bank told me the loan was approved, ready in queue, waiting SBA to launch PPP 2. Should I apply at a smaller bank? Also, make sure I don't miss out. All I can say is go see the coaches video, or right after that, I came out with something called the softer side or something like that. Watch those 2 videos. I really feel like I said what I needed to say in that, so check those out. M. Salazar, let's see. SBI sites indicates REDL applicants who have already submitted their applications will continue to be processed on a first come. Yeah. So it did say that once the funds lapsed, it did indicate that they'll still process the ones. Ty Berger, JJ, listen to your daily videos. Thanks for your insane efforts to help folks. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. RK, when to stop filing 7,200? Can I file every month, every quarter? I pay monthly. Every payroll you can file that puppy on the 7,200.
Tony says you can be the H&R block for small businesses.
I'll be the JJ block.
JJ block.
Yeah. Me and who was it? J-Lo, Jenny?
Yeah.
Jenny from Around the Block?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? We need to do a song. JJ from Around the Block.
Got it.
Let's see. David P. Can you collect state unemployment? Oh, I think you probably heard that. The strictest answer would be no, your PPP is covering your payroll, but you need to go ahead and apply. Let's see. 16th, about 3 hours before they stop taking the applications and accepted by the SBA. Well, hopefully, Timothy, you got... I'll tell you this, I had a smaller bank, same thing. Someone applied at 4, boom, it was funded at 4:20. The next morning they were out of money and they got their money. So yeah, I think the smaller banks are the winners. Yep, okay, so Carol said they're only processing to what was through last week. Alan, thank you, JJ. I think I answered that one and want to prepare in the future. Videos will definitely help through the process. Thank you.
378 people.
Holy moly, what? Wow.
Giving us thumbs up.
Oh yeah,
We really
thumbs up.
Appreciate that. And if you are new here, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We would appreciate that.
Let's see. Okay, so Daniel, yes, the PUA. Gosh, they're waiting all the way to February or April 28th. Yeah, so you'll get the federal. I'm not sure about the state end. On Timothy, use your video on filling out Schedule C. Nice, love it, right? And then just make sure. I know you know because I said it like 68 times on the video. So whatever you hand into them, that's what you would want to hand into the IRS, and then all should be good there.
Giving a shout out to Chris Danley, who says, great videos. I followed the steps, got the action after you lit the fire, and received PPP funds today. Thank you for all your help. All
right. Well, congratulations. I'm so glad. Yeah, there was a couple of videos before where I'm like, what are you waiting for? Yeah. All right. Samantha Mason, I talked to customer service and they said, can't apply for both EIDL and PPP because they give you any money for PPP, they'll take it back on the EIDL both. Can't do both. Yep, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. For round 2, they haven't passed it, so got to see what they say on that. My indication is, yep, it's if you watch my coaching video, you go for the EIDL, you're going to get $1,000, $2,000, disclose it on your PPP, you're going to get less, but guess what? The risk here is, what if you don't get PPP round 2 and you didn't do EIDL? So can you do both? Yes, but you have to disclose because there's going to be a reduction in more. It's going to be a reduction in the amount that is forgiven. But know this, we haven't seen PPP2, the law. I mean, they may very well come out with something that either further clarifies that or provides additional information. But EIDL can be used for other things. It's not limited to the payroll and the utilities and the rent. So if you can show that you're using it for different purposes, you're good. And then you do have to disclose it. I say it in that video as well. So you are on point. Let's see. Boy. Let's see. Tina Beard, so glad you're on. Good to see you. Thanks for answering questions. Walk and Swole, JJ, would you categorize the ADL grant in the accounting system? I don't have an income category for free money. Is this equity? I'm going to have a QuickBooks video. I keep threatening that I'm going to have it out there. You're right. I think where you need to show it though, on your financials, is 1 of 2 spots. You can either sit it there as a liability and then at year end transfer it out as a liability. But at the end of the day, on your tax return, which more I think counts than anything, you're going to want to reflect that as a reduction in expenses. So typically, wherever return you're filing, you're going to have other deductions that list all the other deductions, and you'll want to have a line item, EIDL, and it'd be a negative whatever dollar amount you got to reduce down the expenses. And so that would be the way to do it. Same thing for PPP. Let's see, Steve Young, go for the whiskey. Joe, trying to get the ERC before getting PPP funded is a no-no, correct? Well, let's just say yes, but just know this, if you got the ERC, okay, because, I mean, there were a few people, I'm sure, that as soon as they didn't get PPP1, boom, they went and got the ERC because they needed to get the money. All that happens here is there's going to be a recapture. We just need the IRS to define what is the recapture. How does the recapture occur? And what does that mean? if you take the employee retention credit, okay, and so for argument's sake, you didn't get PPP1, you don't know if there's PPP2, you can't just go by what the news says and you hope and politicians and maybe, right? Because last week we didn't know what was doing. Technically, it still couldn't. It still could not happen, right? Point is that the law states in the section talking about the ERC that the IRS needs to determine for those that got the ERC and then later got PPP, how is the recapture? The recapture is one of three ways. One way is you're writing a check as soon as you get the PPP funds back to the IRS, and or the next payroll deposit, or by the end of the next 9/41 filing date, you've got to give those dollars back, boom. Or it will be a reduction in the loan forgiveness, which is how the EIDL is taking care of the sick leave credits as well as the expanded credits. So here's what I've told my clients though is like, hey, if you're going for PPP2, then sit tight. Okay, we're sitting tight for two reasons. Go get your PPP2. There are other reasons we're sitting tight is that we don't know how the IRS is going to tell us to recapture it. For most clients, it'd be like, well, why do it? You're just going to have to pay it back. You know, why do it? Now, if I have some clients, I've got two that are in desperate measures. It may be, hey, let's go ahead and get the ERC. Who knows if you're getting PPP2? And if your loan forgiveness is reduced by the ERC, it all comes out in the wash later. But at the end of the day, if you want the most technical, correct, or the most technical, what do we know right now, period, the end. If you got PPP, you're not doing ERC. You can do ERC if you don't have PPP yet. Just know there's going to be a recapture. None of it you're doing anything wrong, because at the end you're gonna have to. Did you qualify for first quarter? Yes, then you take it.
I'm going to ask a question
Yeah.
from Tammy, or not Tammy, Tina, because she just helps out so much. And she said she's posing this question again because I keep getting this question repeatedly. Has anyone been able to enter direct deposit information on the IRS website?
You know, Tina, I had clients that were trying it, and one of them that had tried a couple of times on Friday was able to successfully then log in all the way through. I've had clients as of today logging in and have not, but I've also had one client that last week they were like, we don't even have enough information to do anything for you. And I said, well, why don't you just try again next week? They logged in, and today they were able to go all the way through, put in their account information. So I had another one, email me, and they're like, hey, what do I do? And I was just like, this thing has been so inconsistent. No worries. At some point, they're going to send it to you if they don't have your account info. So I don't know what the deal is because, Tina, this was from, someone that was old enough to get Social Security, but they're not, meaning a non-filer. And so they did go through the filing and they were able to do that. And then it was, someone that was self-employed. It was someone that they just get one W-2. It was somebody that hadn't filed 2019. One, we had filed 19, but it doesn't seem like they've fully processed it. So it's kind of been all the situations you can think of, meaning I can't really pinpoint it to say, oh, well, that's why that must have worked for that person. So Tina, I'm assuming you haven't had anybody yet. So it'd be nice. Let's see. Felice Garcia, can I do 7,200? Oh, okay, I already. PPP on April 17th, even though I received PPP. Felice Garcia, no. If you already got PPP funds, the only way you would want to do it is with IRS clarification of how it's handled on the backside. But if you've already got the funds, then I think you're out of luck. The window was maybe before that. Daniel, did anybody get Cabbage PPP funding in round one? Let's see, M. Oregon. Let's see, Nature Heals. Let's see, more stuff about unemployment that I really just don't have enough information about because it's state to state, that it's different. Wow, look at all this. I need to talk quicker because holy smokes, there are a lot of, holy smokes. Look at this. I'm still scrolling and I have nobody. All right, so Joe and Nitty Gritty and Deep Patel, thank you. I appreciate that. Deb and yes, Daniel, thank you so much. EC Fun Events. Yeah, you know what? What I learned, the reason they're pulling credit is not they're basing on credit. They're doing it as a verification, I guess, of who you are. And They're not actually basing it on credit. Thumbs up, Scott. I appreciate that. John, hello. Let's see. Koi, Asian Bistro, thank you so much. Is the Koi the one that's here in Edmond?
Yep, Koi.
Koi, all right. We have to follow up. Koi wants to bring us dinner. I've been so inundated, and I keep seeing that email, and she sent us the menu, and we need to follow up on that, so I appreciate that. Yeah, Stephen Haas, EIDL round 2 is different for sure. Samantha, let's see, hour late. Let's see, Daniel and Gregory, PPP Master, love it. Eric, Steve Young, appreciate that. JJ for president. You know, JMAC's been talking about that for like a year. You know, I will tell you this, when I was in college, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a congressman and a senator and maybe a governor, and then I was planning on running for the United States presidency, and part of that was because my mom told me when I was like 5 years old, you know, you're gonna be president one day, and told me all that, and then you know, you get older and you realize that you can't necessarily do everything that your parents think you can do when you're 5 years old. All right, Nadia, Capital One sent me the notice to play after the money was gone. Let's see. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's a crash and burn. That is funny. That is hilarious. All right, so question in investing. Should I sell and make a profit? What's the deal with capital gains tax for these times? No differences if you hold it over for a year. Sorry, Amanda, on the crash and burn. Paul, I'd rather watch JJ. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lucky Man, Trent, Nong, Frank. Let's see. You have more viewers than Trump on YouTube right now. I love it. Fred, thank you so much. EC, Addison, thumbs up. Thank you. Let's see. Strip Cheese Food Truck. If I only got 5,000 PPP and then 10,000 PPP, I have to give back 5 on the PPT, or do I get to use it all for payroll, 75%? You know, the food industry is different. I appreciate you asking, because if you can show that you use that 5,000 on the EIDL on your cost of goods sold on your food, you can show it. You can clearly show it, not just promise it, cross your fingers, and then try and explain your way out of a wet paper bag on it, saying that all in fun. But you got to show that you use those dollars directly and differently. I don't have a big suggestion for you on that, other than somehow you need to really show that. So I think in the food industry, you're a little bit different because you have the cost of goods sold. Not every business does. Let's see, Elizabeth, Amanda's got to keep you in line. JJ, I appreciate that. Samantha, Fred, Nong. Let's see, Cheryl, can I continue to use my credit card to get me 2% to pay company insurance and then pay the credit card the same amount as a qualified expense? You know, I hate to say you can, and then your bank goes, hey, you can't do that. But I'm going to say yes, because more what's important is that you paid those dollars during that period of time. But I would think you would want to pay that credit card, but within the 8 weeks, period, the end, no excuses. So I think if there's a direct correlation, I think you're okay. And here's why I think that's okay. I just got checks from my account that is the separate PPP account for me. So I'm writing checks out of my operating account for the utilities and the insurance and payroll. And then I'm writing a check from that account to my operating to cover those things. So I think it would be the same thing as if you were using a credit card and then PPP money directly to that, but make sure you're paying it within the 8 weeks so that there's not a question later on this. Let's see, Koi Asian Bistro. Hi, JJ. How can I use the PPP funds to pay the servers, which most payroll comes up from tips, but now we're only allowed for carry out? Thank you so much for your time. You know, they have something in there, and I can't really follow the full explanation because it goes into tips and seasonal, and I don't actually have any clients that this really applies to, so I hate to say it, but I hadn't had time to jump into it. All I would say is this: you should be A-okay by you're just paying what you normally need to pay. I know there's not normally the tips that come in. The tips that come in, you're just going to retain them in the business like you would otherwise. You're going to use PPP funds to pay your payroll. I don't see anywhere where you need to do any kind of offset related to that, because the payroll that you handed in included the tips that were reported on the W-2 in the past, the 941s, et cetera, et cetera. So I had another one that indicated something similar to that. It was based on commissions, and it is fine that, you know, the company's going to retain the tips and the commissions. just like it always would, right? It's going to collect it and then it pays it out. Well, you're going to collect it, you're going to pay it out, but the PPP funds cover what's paid out. So hopefully that answers your question. We really appreciate you. Let's see. Nadia, single member LLC to shut us up. They added single member LLC to shut us up. They require documents that I don't have, unemployment, for example. Yet they still want the business license fees. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. That sounds like it's at the unemployment level. Let's see, the medium biz profit, mid, medium, or full of cigars, or full on cigars. I like the medium. I really appreciate that. Yeah, what, I got one right here? Let's see, I should have one. So, you know, I do like a ring that's a little larger than this. This is my, I don't know what else you'd call it, but a chewer, okay? Meaning I don't smoke these, but this leaf's even a little darker than what I would actually normally smoke, but I appreciate you asking. All right, let's see. Kimberly just received $2K on the EI deal today. Nice. I'm telling you this, when they do the replenishing, I would reapply again unless they specifically say don't do it again. And the only reason I'm saying that is that it was originally 10K for a business, like you just got 10K. So if you got the 2, it was after they made the changes. So again, it's if you're in economic distress and you need those funds and you have things that you can apply it to, then I don't think there's anything wrong for going back. I think one of the barbecue spots, they got 7K. So I say they go back.
Give a shout out to Kelly. I just received a message from her that said that she wanted to thank us both for giving her the confidence needed to fill out the PPP application through the bank and telling us not to procrastinate. We just signed electronically with our bank for our PPP loan. 30 employees. I feel like we can breathe for a few weeks. Thank you.
Breathing with her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That was Kelly. Mm-hmm. Was that one of the Kellys that sent the...
It's the Kelly I talked to this morning.
Oh, the Kelly that you talked to this morning. Oh, that Kelly.
That Kelly.
Nice. Oh, well, thank goodness.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Kenda, the Treasury Secretary sounded pretty harsh yesterday about those taking funds that didn't really need them. Yeah, how about we start with the freaking publicly traded companies? Are you kidding me? Companies worth 89 million getting 10 million in PPP money. And then, you know, I do have a number of clients that, you know, they were just kind of under the assumption, like they were just like, all right, well, JJ, you know, how do we apply for this? What do we need? And I said, you know, let's talk about this because I don't know that you technically qualify. I mean, I know that your business is shutting down, but the way that you make your money, it's still going to come in. I know you have employees. I know that you know, potentially you're going to continue to pay them. But the way that you're making your money based on what's going on, you know, I don't know that you really qualify. And every client I talked to was like, wow, you know, I didn't really realize that there was a qualification aspect to it. I talked to a law firm, and there's 3 lawyers that own it. They each have their own law practice. And as we huddled, you know, we now have potentially 4 entities that could go and get the PPP funding. But when we really kind of looked at it, it was like, yeah, you know, each of these individual law firms, the majority of the compensation being to the attorneys, not that they didn't qualify, but they really felt like, you know, if we're going to do the PPP for the law practice that has all the employees, we are going to have to shut down. It's the kind of law practice, and then there is no money coming in. And so long story short, there were, you know, potentially 4 PPP apps. Thank you, Candace. And we decided, you know, or they decided, you know, we're just going to do it on the main one. And so don't get me wrong, it's not like we are, you know, we can help talk things through our clients. But I will tell you this, let's see, I will tell you this, that I've got know of a CPA firm. They've been already slapped with the lawsuit. And that was just because they had indicated that they told the owners, hey, you know, you're not allowed to include the partnership K1s up at the partnership level. You'll have to file for that down at the individual level. Turned out there were a bunch of partners, And then the SBA came out on the 14th of April and said, hey, if you have partnerships, we want it to all be up at the partnership level. Thank you, Stephen. Well, heck, they had applied like a week before the SBA even came out with that. And so that's kind of the tricky part we have is, as advisors here is, how far do we go in advising on what can and cannot be done? Now, part of it for me is like, well, why didn't the banks bring up something? I mean, the bank knew that they were partnership, and the bank knew there was K1s, but the bank wouldn't have even known. Like, no one knew. So quite unfair. All right, so let's see. See if I can get some people talking here. Road Lion. Okay, yeah, they're asking for more documentation. And Matthew, I think that you've sent me some emails. I've seen them. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back with you yet. JJ, a bank put funds in an account that sweeps each day for, line of credit and excess into investment account. I feel this is a misuse. Thoughts? Yeah. So that bank probably just that bank probably needs to, set up a separate account. I think that's a no way, Jose, so to speak, if I can say that. Can I say that? No way, Jose? Is that okay?
You
all right.
can say that.
Okay. All right. We're good with that. Yeah. And, Matthew, fellow CPA, right? It's kind of weird, when you're a CPA, an EA, attorney, you have some licensing that goes along with your name. It's almost like you all of a sudden we're required, like Good Samaritan required. You might just do a light email. I wouldn't probably go too harsh on it, but more just maybe to the bank and to the client, just say, hey, I reviewed this. I'm sure that you guys have it all figured out, but my concern would be is if this was looked at by a third party, that these funds are, going to pay off debt. They're going into an investment account. These should be segregated out. My recommendation is you set up a new bank account and segregate out the funds, but you all need to decide it. Maybe you already did something like that, but I document something just for your own sake. And as well as I do, we can't go tell anybody about these things, not that we would, but Mike Deba, CPA, when I first started my practice almost 23 years ago, and he's about 10 years my senior, and he was glad to see that there was someone young starting their own practice because he was tired of taking on new clients and he wanted to be able to send people that were calling him to somebody else, and he had a number of clients that he was kind of like tired of dealing with them. And I still have some of those clients here today. But nonetheless, he said the first person that's going to turn on you is your client. So always cover yourself, document. And so anyways, I'm sure there's wonderful clients that probably never turn on you. But first one that would.
With flying colors said, hold on a second, Uncle JJ. About to post your live in a group of 10,000 people.
What?
We do have 354 people watching, so if you guys could please give some thumbs up, and if you are new here, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel.
So Flying Colors is putting us into a feed with about 10K. I love it. Tell us when we're live. We'll welcome everybody. Really appreciate that so much. Let's see, and Matthew, I appreciated your other email on that. Let's see, Tiffany P, can employers add themselves to payroll if they were included in pre-PP? Yeah. If you're included in it, and you were paying yourself wages, you absolutely. I don't think where it's going to fly at all is if the employer, the owner, wasn't included in wages. They're not in the 12-month average. And now they decide to include themselves. I still don't even think it flies. Thank you, Kathleen. I still don't even think it flies if the payroll goes down and they put themselves in. One of the bank presidents I was talking to, he said, I think that the Treasury is just going to end up buying all these, and then these people are going to be sitting in front of IRS agents, Treasury agents, Secret Service agents that deal with money laundering. Not every Secret Service agent, their entire career is protecting our, politicians, the president, and other dignitaries. Not all of them do that all the time, right? I've got a great friend, client, former Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma, the Honorable Todd Lamb, and no secret on that, and no secret that he was a former U.S. Secret Service agent. So he was on presidential detail. He was on detail related to Secretary of State, you name it, right? No secrets about this. But at the end of the day, there are times that he's doing desk duty, for lack of a better word, and that's who we may be talking to, is different federal agents that are going to go through the paperwork. So anyways, we want to be careful on that. Just keep it in mind. I knew it. B-O-A it is. Can't say it. Yes, you can get PPP if you lost money. It's just based on wages. I already applied for the EIDL. Wait for the EIDL, Adrian, to replenish, and then go for it again. Salazar, let's see. If you have the number 3, someone was telling me today that you should be in the hopper. Don't take my word for it, but if you have a number 3, you're good. If you got a number 2 on your EIDL, you might be under the old. Let's see, Augie. Let's see, Coco, Everett. Wow, let's see, Dan and Kimberly. Are we on with 10,000 people? Maybe. Let's just assume that we are. Welcome. We have a wonderful family that you are now joining. Everybody that's on with us, we have so many people that join us every day. I go live. For now, we'll say Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central. JJ the CPA is the name, and helping people is the game, right? So welcome. I'm so honored. Thank you for Flying Colors.
The Flying Colors.
For putting us on with a big group. What I'm trying to do is just help people. I set out putting together videos, information for my clients like I always do. It started to get noticed here locally. Banks started asking if they could get some of the information I was putting out. So I created a kind of a community service website, if you will, which is jjthecpahelp.com. And so I've got up there, charts, worksheets and lists and anything that I'm sending and creating for clients. And now I'm just creating for those that need the help. So welcome. Thank you so much, the Flying Colors. And if you would, check out JJ the CPA on YouTube and subscribe. So I really appreciate that. And so welcome. We've got a huge family here that is joining us every day. We have a ton of people that are here to support our efforts and rally, and there's a community that's a part of what's going on here every day. So it's more than just me. And we've got Amanda here, my soulmate, helping with all this. And thank you. I got some more letters. Mm-hmm. I got a gift coming on the way. I don't know what it is yet, but I got an email that something's on its way. So I'm excited for that. All right. Let's see, Brent. Let's see, we issue performance bonuses to staff at the end of tax season. Do you think these payments will still be acceptable by banks? I think what I've been saying all along is like, what do you normally do? Then do it. It went into your averages. Give the bank a call if you're concerned about it. And at the end of the day, here's what happens. You go, hey, we normally do this. This is the raises. It's kind of in the same line as what it's always been. And they either go, well, we're not happy with that. We don't appreciate you doing that. So that portion of your loan's not going to be forgiven. Maybe that's just the worst that happens. But at the end of the day, if you normally do it, that's kind of been my stance from the beginning, then just continue to do what you normally do. Bowl of soup. Love you too. Thank you so much. Let's see. SBA is getting sued for not giving us 10,000. Let's see. Well, apply again. You got another chance. I was able to work. Let's see. So Addison, it's based on wages on the PPP, but you should be able to get the pandemic unemployment assistance. So check with your state on that. Brian Graves. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Brian. I like that. Yes. Brian, I think I still need to get back with you. Andres, what are the main terms of the EIDL that you're using it for your business? Really the main terms. TD, can you get, okay, you already answered that. Let's see. Our Grace, JJ's now offering group therapy. I think you like that. Is this just how far behind I am? Mm-hmm. Let's see. All right, well, I'll skip ahead. I got the look. Let's see, Blair and Tina. I feel like, so many people on. I just want to say hi to them all. Walking Swole and surgery, or Sergey and Glenn and Jennifer Terry, and Card Shop Reality. Boom, David P. Thank you so much. I took your advice in the previous video today, JJ, and went and did a walk through the temporary closed businesses. Very inspirational. Thanks, JJ. Yeah, you bet. I'm glad you caught that one. You know, confession, I haven't even done it. I haven't done it. I need to do it. I need to go walk my firm. Let's see, Grace, hello. Let's see, Eric, just wanted to say it helps. Jamie, Alex, thank you so much. Nancy, let's see, I know how to do all that stuff once your book comes. Appreciate that so much, everybody. Now it's not letting me go. Michael Self, Dan, Coy, what's up? What's up? Let's see, payroll is considered in the 8-week period when it's actually paid. The pay period it covers isn't irrelevant unless comes different guidance. Yeah, you know, Coy, you and I are on the same page. I did a video. I don't know if I explained it very well. But when I was talking to a couple of banks, what Coy's saying here is that it's considered in the 8-week period, right? And the reason for that is the SUDAs during that time, you know, the payrolls during that time. Now, the banks have said, okay, well, if you got payroll coming, and don't get me wrong, maybe the bank's going differently. If you think differently, then just go ahead and do it how you would think. But I've talked with the bank. I said, hey, even for me, right? Monday came. And so Monday comes, I've got my funds were dispersed Monday the 13th. So I had a payroll period that's like directly in half. And I said, well, hey, so what do I do? Do I just pull half of the money out from this other account and then pay the payroll? And he's like, well, I mean, the money's just segregated in a different account to be segregated. It's not really being traced. There are a number of people that they're getting the PPP money. It's just going straight into their operating account. But he said more to what Coy's saying, who's CPA here right in Edmond, Oklahoma with me. And is more like, well, it's going to be the payroll. So even though you go, well, oh, I paid this right now, and so did I already include 2 weeks? No, you only included a week. So he was okay with payroll's payroll. It's a designated expense. It's a qualified expense. Now, if somebody wants to go more strict in that, there's certainly no problem with that. Because I do have someone, they're like, you know what? I just want to pull out just what is allocated to the 8 weeks. So they just pulled it out. A way that gets tracked. So Coy, I think you're right, or I know you're right. Regardless of how you're using those PPP funds for that payroll, and in all reality too, it'd be the same thing for the other things technically. Now this banker said, you know, if rent's the same, I don't know that we're going to go, it was this many days and this many days and this many days. It's like, well, 2 months of rent's going to count. 2 utility is going to most likely count, obviously, you know, within that period. So hopefully the SBA comes out with a little bit more on that. But, you know, but you're absolutely right. It looks like Coy was answering somebody else's question, so I'm just backing up. Let's see, LTV 999. Are you still recommend applying for the EIDL and requesting the 10K fund, but then it won't be forgiven? Why are you recommending that now? Because we're done with PPP1 EIDL 1. And really what it came full circle when we were going into PPP1, there is a separate set of rules between EIDL April 3rd and before and EIDL after April 3rd. And the EIDL after April 3rd is if you just show you're using it for a separate purpose, they're letting you have both. Whereas if it's April 3rd or before, it fell under the rules, and that's one of the things they updated the application on, which is you need to disclose it. Now, on the application now, you would still need to disclose it. But when you look at the application now, I'm gonna verify what I'm saying right in this moment. But when you look at the application now, so I'm gonna go to JJ the CPA help, and on the PPP, I've got a copy of the application, and on it, it's loading now. Let's see, it says, yeah, has the applicant received an SBA, EIDL January 31st, between January 31st and April 3rd? If yes, provide on a separate sheet. So when I was doing all the videos going into PPP and trying to decide which one do you do, EIDL, PPP, what's going to be better? Of course, we thought, and at that time it was 10K on the EIDL. So now as we're going into PPP2, unless they update the application, but when you look at the videos I did yesterday or in the middle of the night, I did indicate, hey, go for the EIDL. If right now we know it to be 1,000 employees. So if you put down 5 employees or 2 employees, then disclose up on your app if it's required. Right now it wouldn't be. But then when you're at the end, what you need to be prepared for is that it may be that your EIDL is going to reduce down your forgiveness. But the reason for it now is that we have a different set of rules that we're working with. It's part 2. And why run the risk? Okay, why run the risk? And so the big difference here, though, is that if you're getting both, then they need to be for separate purposes. So at the end of the day, that's why the advice has changed on that. Hopefully that makes sense. And let's see, did I lose my pop outs once I go out?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's get to our questions, and maybe, go ahead and put those up. But then we'll go to the questions. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We're still going, and we would love it if you'd subscribe. Really appreciate it if you would.
Thumbs up.
All right. Thank you. Thumbs up. If you can give us a thumbs up, that would really be appreciated. And then if you can hit subscribe, at least, before you leave today.
Sarah Kay says, thanks JJ and Amanda for all you do. You are the best.
Yep, and then look, they got their, have you all seen this coffee cup going around? And it's called, how there's EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Now it's EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, and coronavirus. So
I just learned something new because I've never.
You've never heard that?
Never in my life.
EBITDA.
Never in my life.
EBITDA.
Have I heard that.
EBITDA.
All
EBITDA.
right. So you're going to go this way.
I'm going to go that way. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
That might not be a question. So.
Okay.
Because there's not very many in there.
Well, and the reason why, okay, we're going to make it sound like no one's emailing me anymore, is that, I am getting a lot of emails on the PPP forgiveness, and so I do have an auto reply on that is saying you need to just check with your bank, because when I'm getting very specific scenarios, I have this many dollars and I have this many employees, and then I did this, and then can I pay overtime, and what if, do people have to clock in, clock out, and all that good stuff? That kind of analysis right there is bank needs to be involved in that, so to speak, and then the numbers are just going to have to fall where they may. And really, at the end of the day, the bank's making final decisions. On the unemployment, I haven't been I haven't really been applying to that, because the same questions are, can I use PPP in unemployment? The same answer is, well, PPP is meant to replace, but what you need to do is apply to the state, because the states are the ones that are going to have to make the determinations on this. And then on the forgiveness, the theme has really just been, spend it on what you need, and if you need an extra employee, it doesn't mean that you can't. It's just that your PPP funds may not be fully forgiven, or it may be that you still didn't use enough. And the goal isn't necessarily to worry about getting the funds forgiven. So we had Tom, he's a contributor, or I'm sorry, he writes articles for Forbes magazine. He had a great article that came out yesterday. He's been wonderful at sending information to me on certain things, but his whole article was simply on spend on what you need. And so if you don't find yourself saying, well, can I pay extra for this, or should I hire somebody extra to get full forgiveness? If that's not part of your language, right, then you just got to do what you got to do. And at the end, the numbers are going to be what they are, period. They just are going to be what they are. And even for those that are trying to, like, well, maybe if I spend this, and then I should spend that, and well, these people left, so I should spend that. The banks and the SBA, they're going to see who the details are. They're going to see the detailed payroll records as we understand it now. And so all I'm saying on that is that on the PPP forgiveness, it's impossible to figure out if you can or cannot do something, because there's a number of these factors that are all relying on what you did coming up on June 30, 2020, which how do we know how that's going to happen? And then a lot of these decisions that you're inquiring of, my response is just do what you've always done. Do what makes sense. And from that perspective, we have a ton of emails related to that. And then I'm just letting my auto reply speak for itself. And then I've done a ton of videos, I'm doing a ton of videos. And so I kind of just feel like in my videos, I've shared what I feel I can share about the forgiveness. When it gets down to now providing specific advice, I really don't know you well enough. I don't know your circumstances well enough. And even if you're providing me a set of circumstances to make a decision based on, it's irrelevant because it's the bank. Now, what's interesting is I had a CPA yesterday send me just a screenshot. I don't know who it was, didn't disclose. It was Sean, but he had sent me a screenshot of what one of his clients had gotten from the bank, which included language from the bank saying, don't ask us any questions. And if you ask us, we're going to answer it in our favor. And you're going to have to hire a CPA and a lawyer. Well, I mean, that's interesting. But around here in Oklahoma, they don't even provide anything. It's just loan documents only. And basically, it's like, whatever's not forgiven, you owe back. Okay? Whatever's not forgiven, you owe back. Interest starts ticking now, and it's over 18 months now. It's not over 2 years, definitely not over 10 years. So with the banks at here, they've answered questions, but they've just said what I've said, which is, well, do what you normally do. I can't really project your numbers. I can't project your payroll. And when you're taking into account all the things that it has to be compared to, if your bank's got a worksheet, you want to project it and go through it. But the thing to remember is this, is that even if you got 100K and 89,000 of it's forgiven and 11,000 of it isn't, for whatever reason, the haircuts are involved, what you have to remember is you got 89,000 free. You didn't get 11,000 free. So you got to pay back 11 grand. Well, did people get paid? Yes. And where I think people will get kind of burned on it is if they're doing can I do this so it's full forgiven, or should I do this so it's full forgiven? That's where they're going to get burned because the percentages aren't going to work themselves out. And even if it's like, well, but my payroll's down, so can I hire my niece to come in and work? Well, if your niece is actually doing the job, sure. But if not, you're going to sit eyeball to eyeball with a banker or an examiner or a U.S. Treasury agent or someone at the SBA. And you're going to say, why did this person come and work? Oh, well, I want to make sure I got full forgiveness. Well, it won't fly. So anyways, we do have quite a few on that. Let's see, question. You want to read it? Give me a chance to.
Love your work. Absolutely love. This is from Danny. Quick question. Wife started her business in May of 19, did about 100,000, no employees, roughly 65,000 net. Does she divide by the full 12 months or just the number of months she was open in 2019? Hashtag JJ for president.
Well, thank you, Danny. I really appreciate that. So let's see, opened in May of 19, the 100K. So on that, this is my interpretation. 1102 says last 12 months. SBA came out, I think, on the 3rd and said you can do the last 12 months or you can base it on 2019. But that was related to payroll, okay? There was no guidance related to self-employment, okay? Then they came out on the 14th and they said it's going to be 2019 Schedule C. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And so you have your Schedule C, and then you have your bottom line. So there's nothing in the guidance if you're talking about, you file a Schedule C, no separate tax return included. It seems as though that would be divided by 12. But really what I'd want you to do is double check with your bank. If you don't have anybody to ask, then I think you need to go on the conservative side. But I'll be honest with you, there was a period of time that I would have said to you, you would do it over the number of months. Now, there's a provision in the law and there's a provision in the SBA that if you weren't open in 19 and you were open though on February 15th, 2020, that you would take the period that you were open divided by the number of periods that you were open. So we've kind of got it going this way. So for businesses that haven't opened, the businesses that opened in 19, May of 19 through, and if you're applying now, kind of at the end of April, you're running all the way through March, maybe April. So all I'm going to say is this: if it's self-employed, the way I understand it, and if Tina and Kenda, I don't know if Julio's on, see what their thoughts are. My understanding now is on sole proprietor, it's 2019, Schedule C, line 31, that's it, divided by 12, right? And then times 2.5. And then it's your Schedule C divided by 52 times 8 in terms of your forgiveness amount. So Danny, thank you for the question. I appreciate that. Good luck to you. If you can't get an answer from the bank, okay, then I just think you do it based on 12 months. That'd just be me, and that'd be when I say the most conservative, it's like no one can hang you by your toenails later if you did it divided by 12 months, because I don't find anything that says you'd be able to do anything.
With Flying Colors just announced that if anybody is here from the CARES SBA group or the PayPal group, let them know that you were here. So.
Oh, wow.
So thank you again.
Yes.
With Flying Colors, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you bet. Appreciate that. We're going through questions for those that have just joined us. I did, usually when I go live at 4 p.m., I kind of do maybe thoughts that are on my mind, questions that I've seen throughout the day, comments, things I've talked with the banks about, or clients of mine, or people that I've come in contact with, or other CPAs. I kind of talk about those things, and then kind of what's the latest. It's a little bit of a, kind of a built-in daily update, if you will. So then I say hi and welcome everybody, and that can last 30 minutes in terms, not just welcome everybody, but initial questions, what's going on right now? So first 30 minutes is kind of an update. Then we try and answer a few of the questions that come in that are just quick and easy. And then we hop on to email. So if you want to send us an email at jj@jjthecpahelp.com. And those that just joined us as well, I've got a website out there I just created for you. I have another website for my clients. Okay, on that website, you can get a t-shirt and buy my song and link to my book and all that good stuff. On the JJ the CPA Help, there's nowhere to hire me. There's nowhere you provide an email address, but I've got information in there about unemployment and cash flow and survival and figuring out future cash position, as well as the PPP forgiveness, things about the EIDL, updated as often as I can get it updated, but then worksheets, Excel spreadsheets, things to that effect. From my perspective, I don't know of anybody else out there that's keeping up with everybody every single day. And so Amanda and I've enjoyed doing that. So welcome.
Jason from Darkwater Meg says, first 30 minutes of JJ's live videos is an update. The next 4 hours are questions. After that, the sign off is about 72 minutes. Jason's got it tagged.
I love it. Well, you all make my day, you make my week. And when I'm thinking of the next set of videos, I'm thinking of all of you. There was a video, I don't know if everybody caught it, that says part 1, and there's one that says part 2. And at the beginning of the video, I try and think of everybody that I can. And I say, you don't need to watch part 1. You can just go right to part 2. You don't need to watch part 1 because you already would know all the information. Just go ahead and go to part 2. But that was also because I was, part 1, as you see part 2, you're like, oh, okay, that's what was going on in part 1, and those people that tune in. So are we visiting about this one, or is this one about the show? This one's all about the show? This next one?
Yes. We're going to go to one that says FJ Depot.
Okay, FJ Depot. Here we go.
All right, next, this is from JC. First of all, thank you for all your help you provide me with YouTube. I'm a single owner and have a corporation, and the bank is asking me for a 1099 miscellaneous from 19. I would just like to check if this is correct. In addition, my CPA has not done my 19 taxes yet. Is there another option for this case, or must I have the taxes done? I asked because you mentioned in the videos that some businesses can use a Schedule C, but my CPA says I cannot use it. Thanks in advance for all your cooperation. Yeah, you bet. So if you're a single owner and you have a corporation, you're an S or a C. The best way to know that is thumbs up by M. Salazar. I appreciate that. Everybody, we got 200 thumbs up. I really appreciate that, y'all. I appreciate you guys. Hey, if you're giving some thumbs up, I'm loving you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So here's the deal.
If you are a corporation, then look at your tax return. Top left, you may already know it, but top left, you'll see that it's 1120S or an 1120. The first thing I'm going to tell you, though, is that neither of them matter in the sense of PPP, because it's just going to be based on wages. And then on the 1099 miscellaneous for 2019, what they may not necessarily be following is if you've indicated you're a single owner, they may think that you're falling under the Schedule C single owner, LLC, because there's such a thing that exists. But at the end of the day, if you've received some 1099s, you can provide them, but what I would provide is some clarification to the bank. And if they don't have a copy of your tax return, even if it's for 18, get it to them and just say, hey, I just want to clarify, I'm a corporation. If you're an S corporation, it's going to say it at the top. Bigger in Texas, top left is also going to give you an indicator. But, indicate to them, I'm a single owner, but I own an S Corp. The S Corp is the one that's filing, or the C Corp is the one that's filing, and it should be based on wages if you have a corporation, period, the end. It's not based on the net, not even possible. If you have a partnership, okay, which wouldn't be a single owner, then you can include, right now, I just call it the guaranteed payments up at the partnership level of the PPP application. Now, yes, if your CPA is saying that you can't use Schedule C, then you can't, because that would be for somebody who doesn't have a corp. And then what would be the other option? I got to stand up and I got to protect my fellow CPAs, EAs, tax professionals. They may just not be able to get her done. Will they get her done by tomorrow if you gave them an extra, couple $100? Or, what's the state of affairs with your books? Do you have a set of financials that are ready to rock that they could prepare? I do have some videos saying, hey, you can put together a Schedule C, which is very dangerous, playing with matches. I have a couple of videos on that, and I think that they're meant to be serious but also funny. But, when it comes to doing a business return, I don't know that I just don't know that I would tell you that you can go ahead and do it yourself. I think there's too much to it. I don't even know if they have softwares that can do business returns for the public. I don't think that TaxSlayer or whatever those other companies are, I don't even keep up with them because I'm not a fan of them. Yeah. TurboTax, I don't even think they have those. So here's the thing. Let me just back it up though for you. Let me back it all the way up. Hold up. Let me back it all the way up, JC. Let me back it all the way up. You ready? No, you don't need a 2019 return. What am I thinking? Because if you're a corporation, it's based on wages, period, the end. Now, the bank may say, hey, we want a copy of your 19 return, but it's nowhere required by the SBA, period, the end. Banks that have wanted something for 19, maybe they take financials. But remember this, if it's a corporation, okay, it's based on wages, period. Okay? If you're a sole proprietor, which that's a Schedule C, which you are not, then it's based on that. So anyways, I got kind of distracted there in my answer.
It's okay.
But if they want 19, then maybe you got to give it to them.
Yeah.
Let's see, Bubba. I think it said Bubba. You really can't put in two applications. I think Tina and I are on the same page on this. I don't know why you can't, though, build two relationships with two banks, open up two bank accounts, check with them, get your documentation to them, see if they think they can push it through. If it's a smaller bank, you might have a better chance. So at the end of the day, go to the coaches video that I did. Get in the huddle, okay? Get in the huddle, right? Get in the huddle.
Stephen wants to know what questions would I ask a CPA to get one that works and thinks like you. Like, what are the top 5 things to ask my CPA to be like JJ?
I appreciate that. Did Stephen, have you gotten my book yet?
I don't know. Yep, that's me, says JJ is the Saul Goodman of CPAs.
Hey, I'll take that as a compliment because Saul Goodman is a lawyer to the people, okay? But, Stephen, have you gotten my book yet? I don't know if you have. I don't know if they got it or not.
No,
Is that who the question was from?
Yeah.
Top
Steve-
5 questions?
Yeah, Stephen is from Backyard Barbecue.
Yeah, knew that.
He
So,
said it's coming.
okay, awesome. Because in the opening of the book, so JJ the CPA here, it's a book I published last year. It's got the top 60 questions of the last 27 years of my practice, and only a handful of them actually deal with taxes. It's about insurance and loans and how to stop whining about things, with your banker. Got a little bit of humor. There's another way to say that. But JJ the CPA here. But Stephen, anyways, in the beginning, I walk through how do you know and how do you go about and what questions do you ask of trying to hire a CPA, EA, a banker, an attorney, an insurance professional. And I've got just a few questions because I'll tell you this, if you have someone that's good, okay, so yeah, from page 13 to page 26, and it looks thick, but just know this, okay, it's nice spacing so that you can go through it quickly. Know this, I really kind of boil it down to like 2 questions because, and I tell you why, and I tell you if they answer them this way and this quickly, then you know you're on the right track. Because I will tell you this, if someone were to ask me questions other than the ones that I listed there, I'd be like, get out of here. Like, get out of here. Like, because you want someone that's experienced, you want someone that's good, and they're not going to be on display anymore. They're not going to give you their resume. They're not going to give you qualifications. They're not going to ask you, gee golly, what do you think? Could I be your CPA? Or EA, or attorney, or banker, or insurance professional. So anyways, that's why I break it down, and the questions probably won't be ones they've ever been asked before. So anyways, glad you're getting my book. I appreciate that.
I do want to give a quick shout out to you, JJ, from Tori, who says, JJ, you're absolutely incredible. As a young sole proprietor, you have been my guiding light in these nightmarish times. I'm proud to be an Okie in LA with heroes like you fighting for us, the small businesses.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And like I said, I wasn't setting out to do any of this. I was just doing stuff to help my clients. And, I'm glad that other people, it's helping them too. So, yeah.
All right. Our next question is going to be from John. Do you have John's email up?
Oh, okay. Hang on a second here. Oh, is Dr. Stark on? Dr. Tony Stark? No, not on. All right.
All right. It says...
oh, wait a minute. From who?
John.
John? Okay.
Yes.
Boom. Here we go.
I'm a sole proprietor LLC with no employees. Question 1. In Massachusetts, can I collect self-proprietor unemployment and PPP? One is state funded and one is federal, correct?
True, but as a sole proprietor, you don't typically pay into state unemployment. So the unemployment that you're probably hearing about is the PUA. It's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. It is from the federal government. Really, my stance on this is that it's kind of an either or in the sense that, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, PUA, is you don't have money coming in. So in essence, it's your paycheck, right? $600 a week. If you qualify for $1, you qualify for $600. But when you're getting the paycheck protection, that's the same thing. And how do I know that that's really the case? Is that when someone has employees, okay, they get that money to pay their employees can't go on unemployment, right? They're getting money to pay their employees. So same thing for me, right? So I have an S corporation, I pay myself wages, and I pay a pretty decent wage to myself, mostly just from the standpoint of I don't play the game of 24, 40,000, 50,000 in wages while my distributions are higher. So I feel like I have a very safe amount of wages, so to speak, that I'm paying to myself. So when I put in for PPP, I clearly am including myself. Now I'm not getting all the money that I have distributions that are paid to me, on a quarterly basis. But long story short, the wages that are paid to me, I get to count, but I don't get to now also go get PUA. And even though I'm not going to get the benefit of my distributions, meaning I am technically taking home less pay, but that's not really the case. I'm taking home less distribution. I'm taking home less percentage of profits, but that's not paycheck, right? That's not really what PUA is protecting. The PUA is not protecting the investor from not being able to pull out enough distributions, to be able to pull out enough dividend. Now, if you're a partnership, there's a little bit of differences there, I think. But here's really my advice on that. Number one, and being in Taxachusetts, Taxachusetts, because they have a lot of high taxes, is go apply, okay? But I think if you're getting PPP funds, I'm hoping, I hate to say it this way, that there's questions about this. In the state of Oklahoma, they still don't have it. They still don't have PUA. You can go pre-apply. I don't really understand what is going on here, because come Monday, it's been a month since the CARES Act was put into play. I mean, it's near like, I don't even know what the term is, because I don't like criticizing our public servants, the people that work at the IRS and the SBA and the state unemployment. There's only so much they can do with the resources that they've been given. They can't work overtime. If they do, I'm sure it has to be specially approved, right? They're running a business and they are working their butts off. So I'm not going to criticize the unemployment commissions, although what is going on? What is going on here? Now, what I've heard is someone was indicating that in Arizona's like, we're waiting for the money from the feds. We're waiting on the feds.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here? Okay, because someone pointed out that you could order something at Amazon. Everybody in the whole country Amazon could empty their entire warehouses by tomorrow midnight at the stroke of an order, right? American Express could give everybody $1,200 tomorrow, right? And if you have an American Express credit card, everybody just got a $1,200 credit, right? So, but our government is doing the best they can, and I don't know if there's anybody to blame. All right, what's the next question?
I filled out an application on 4/15 with Bank of America. My bank keeps...
Bank of America, I'm just doing this.
My bank keeps sending me emails that information is missing, but no one can tell me what's missing. The bank says you have to do it all online, use instructions and FAQs, which cannot tell me what documents are missing. I don't file a 940. I submitted a Schedule 1 and a Schedule C along with PPP application Amendment 4. Might you know what else I might be missing that I could submit?
I'm telling you right now, John, you've submitted everything that I would know you need to submit. You even did the Schedule 1 when they came out on the 14th. Basically, we don't have to provide a Schedule 1 anymore, so it's just Schedule C. I think, I don't want to talk specifically to any banks, but these larger banks that are coming back, asking for information that's not required or doesn't apply, and then they're saying you got to use the portal and you got to use the, frequently asked questions. I'm not saying it's a delay tactic, but it's sure a way that you just stay at the bottom. So what I would suggest is you can listen to 1 or 2 videos. So I just need you to do this. I want you to go to 1 or 2 videos. I posted them in the last 24 hours, probably in the last 18 hours. One's called Get in the Huddle, right? Coach's Huddle, gonna get up in your grill. So if you need a fire lit, you need someone to pump you up, you like getting yelled at a coach, right? Listen to that one. If you want the same message, okay, but I just approach it a little softer, then I think is it actually called the softer side? Do you know? Okay, I can look. Anyway, so next question. Go watch those 2 videos.
Question 3. My PPP application said X amount annualized max amount per month. Plus I added an additional X amount SEP IRA contribution times 2.5. Watching your videos, you don't mention the annualized max.
Yep. So they did away with that. That's why I took down some of those videos. I try any videos that the law completely changes on, and I just pull them down, even though it's I lose the views, which who cares? That's not why I'm doing this. But you'll see if you go to the website, jjcpahelp.com, go to the PPP page. I've got it broken out. I updated the worksheet immediately. And so what the SBA came out with on the 14th is it's just Schedule C divided by 12 times 2.5, period, the ends, totally unfair. It should include health insurance. It should include the retirement. I've had a discussion with a number of CPAs leading up to, but until then, we included all that, okay? But at the end of the day, it's going to just be Schedule C. But here's what I'm gonna say. Go watch those videos, but you need to get a backup plan. You need to get a bank that is a backup plan, but you need to just listen to the videos, okay? It's called Game Plan Soft to Touch or Coaches in the Huddle. Take your pick, okay? If you like being at a football game and you like loud sports, go with the Coach in the Huddle.
Last question. If I do get PPP, I think I can give myself 100% of it for my own payroll. Is this correct if my line 31 on my Schedule C equals 175?
So at the end of the day, go to the PPP forgiveness page, all of you that have the kind of the same inquiry question, but it's this simple. On the sole proprietor, you go to Schedule C, you go to line 31, you divide it by 52 times 8. Okay, and then that's the automatic forgiveness, period, the end, right? Simple. So like I just talked with my bank, and I have a sole proprietorship as well that I'm making butt kiss on. Is it butt kiss or butt kiss?
Bupkis.
Butt kiss?
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be butt kiss. Butt kiss. Anyways, what you want to do is go to my website, because basically that's going to be your automatic forgiveness, and then the difference is what you get to spend. So I'll just share. Amanda's got a sole proprietorship. That's what she runs through her social media company. It's just a much better setup for her to do it as a sole proprietorship for other reasons besides maybe doing an S Corp. She does have a separate entity, but bottom line is that when she got her PPP money, we looked at it, it's like you don't really have any of these other expenses that qualify, okay? So what's your line 31 divided by 52 times 8? That's your amount. The bank was like, yeah, you can just pull it all right now. The other amount's gonna sit in that special account, and maybe other than gas, but heck, you're not driving anywhere right now. I mean, the other expenses, she doesn't really have any, and so she's just already planning on that when the 8 weeks is up, and she's just going to give that other amount back. You can't apply for anything less. You got to apply for the max, so to speak. All right, well, John, thank you. Appreciate the questions. All right.
That is a double thumbs up because we got them. That was all.
Okay. Let me look really quick here. Let's see. Okay, well, we got one here from a CPA. Haven't subscribed yet, so why are you emailing me? I just kidding. I promise I will check in the next few days. I don't understand why I was so lucky.
What email was that?
This is from Janice. Okay, so there's not a question in that. And let's see.
Oh, that's about screen printing.
Okay. And, all right, my main man, Brad. And then, let's see, Anthony. Can we strategically, okay, we already
AJ
talked.
Ringo, he does it because he doesn't sleep. He rarely eats. I feel like at this point that I have to schedule myself in. And I only get like little 15, 20-minute increments or maybe a couple of seconds during the day. Today he did stand beside me while he ate his lunch. Because he didn't even sit down and eat with me, so he stood there. So that's how he does it. And he was up, and the reason why we don't have very many emails, which he didn't let me say whenever we were talking about that earlier, is because he was up till 3 o'clock in the morning replying to them. So,
Oh, true. Yeah. Sometimes I forget. I see the emails, I start replying to them, and then Amanda's like, why are you replying to them? We're supposed to do them online. Hey, someone had a question on the sole proprietor. That is correct. It's not line 31 times 75%. April 14th, the SBA came out. It's on my website, jjcpahelp.com. I don't get anything out of it. You go on my website, even though I keep saying it's just a resource. But for that sole proprietor, Schedule C, right? Sole proprietor, self-employed, independent contractor, doesn't matter. Schedule C, line 31 that was used to get the loan. Take that divided by 52 times 8. That's the forgiveness amount. If you don't have any other expenses, then yes, you're just going to pay that rest back. Now, you do have the option of paying it back over, at this point, they're saying 18 months. You will have interest that starts accruing on it. Now, go to my website. I'm saying it again, but go to my website because I have a list on the PPP forgiveness or forgiveness page. I have a list that's just directly from the SBA. Directly from the SBA. I mean, literally copied it. Okay, just put it, instead of a big paragraph by the SBA, I just put it in a list. And in that list, I indicate the things that count. So it's interesting things that you wouldn't think, like utilities would include gas in your car that you use for business. Now, there's probably not a lot of people driving around right now. So let's see, Danny, did we answer Danny's? Or was that about the forgiveness? Okay. So, oh wow, that's a long one. Chi-Chi Movies. Chi-Chi Movies.
Where are you seeing these?
I don't know. I'm on the emails here. Am I in the JJ email? Pleasure to meet you. I love the interview. Let's see.
But I think you're looking at old.
Oh, am I looking at really?
That's like 411. Like.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So those are all the reality TV.
Oh, this is a reality TV
yeah.
ones.
So
Gee,
that's down
Christmas.
at the bottom.
Okay.
I deleted them all. That's why you're not seeing. I cleaned all the thing out.
And then where's Backyard Barbecue? I can't remember. Where are you, Backyard Barbecue? Where are you located in the U.S.? I'm sure we know. You've told us. I'm looking at your email. I'm sure we could go to www.
You're putting me on the spot.
I know. We need to know these things. Do our research. Let's see. Blair. Guess I'm on a roll today. Love it. Backyard Barbecue. They've got their Kettle Falls, Washington. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're in Washington.
I was gonna guess Washington
and
based.
And they have his brother-in-law's name.
Yeah, Joshua Jenson. That's right.
Near Spokane.
Near Spokane.
Spokane. I'm not from there. Sorry, I have a friend that lives there though.
Okay. So I'm looking here. So Wenatchee. I used to have a girlfriend. Her grandparents were from Wenatchee. And then I went to church camp. And Sarah, I had a girlfriend, Sarah. This is like in the 8th grade. That was from Spokane.
In case you guys couldn't.
You don't need to say it. Don't say it.
That everybody did.
Nope, don't say it.
He was a player.
Stop. Was not.
A player
What
in
CPA is a
high school.
player? It's not even that doesn't even
In
happen.
high school.
Nope. Okay, what was the name of it? It started with a K.
Who?
I don't want to make them say it again. What town in Washington? Say it.
Kettle Falls.
Yeah, Kettle Falls. Okay, so we're looking here.
Falls.
Kettle Falls. Okay, Kettle Falls, Washington. All right, so I'm looking here. I know they said by Spokane, but I want to look here. Oh my gosh, up near the border of the next country above us. When you go down, it must be a major city, because even when I go and I'm scrunching it, Spokane goes away before Kettle Falls goes away. All right, so Kettle Falls, 1,374 miles. It's 1 day and 1 hour.
Wow.
So I think we could fly into Spokane.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Sharon. What any other questions pop up? We're at 6 o'clock already? Wow.
Yeah,
I need some barbecue. I'm telling you that right now. We got Steve's here, and we have Big O's. Stop. And we have Earl's. And there's one more that I'm not thinking of. Where else? It's Earl's. They have multiple locations. Steve's. And then Big O's has one. Big O's is...
Yeah, and then there's that other place that we used to go to. Let me just look on
Okay.
my handy
Anyways,
phone.
I'm just saying it because I need to eat.
Coy Ivy.
Coy.
There's Billy Sims.
Billy Sims, thank you. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
But Coy Iving has been rocking it today.
Thank you,
and
Coy.
answering questions
Thank you, Coy.
The chat. So I just wanted to
I appreciate that.
say that.
I appreciate that so much. Let's see, we've got, won't give away any details, but we've got a dance studio in Massachusetts that we're going to be chatting with tomorrow. And I've got a company out of Florida that we're going to be chatting with. And then let's just say by Tuesday, I've got, it's my friend now, okay? Got a friend that we met through this, and he's just really enjoyed what's going on here and how everybody's just, we've built a community here, right? And the support that we have for one another. And, you know, when he got his PPP money for his company, just, you know, a blessing, right? For anybody that's getting the PPP money. And he came up with this idea and this concept, and he emailed it to me. Really took me aback. Amanda started crying. And it had nothing to do with providing anything to me. It wasn't about a gift to me, but it was an idea that he came up with that I think's phenomenal. I think there's going to be a lot of us that may want to get behind it. And so we're actually putting it together now. And Tony and I are going to be talking about it a little bit further. And Amanda will be an integral part, of course. And but getting something ready to go, and let's just say by Tuesday, we plan to release a video on it. We're going to premiere it. Yes, the JJ community. I love it, Tony. But anyway, so it's not a small thing, but it'll be something that'll start with some great, wonderful generosity and love. And so anyways, stay tuned, because next Tuesday, I think we're going to say that'll be our deadline. But what we'll do, we'll talk about it again, but we'll probably do a premiere video that would come on at 4 o'clock, and then we'll go live right after that. So I guess we better just say it. We better just put it out there. Okay? And I'm going to say this, Wednesday. Give our extra day. Yeah, so let's just start saying it. Wednesday the 29th. Okay? Wednesday the 29th. 4 o'clock, we will premiere what it is that we're doing. That way we got for sure the time to do it. And then I am going to say this. For the show, I was indicating that we would do applications through the 30th. I will go to the website. I'll update that. And let's see, what is today? The 22nd. So I'm gonna close the application process Sunday. Let's just call it midnight Pacific time. Not that that totally matters. Because we have gotten, you want to grab and this doesn't even include, I think we got, it might just be 3 since then. But anyway, so each email that we got, we printed out the email. We did have a technical application. I think there's a number of people that they just put the information in an email. So this is all the different people that we've got. Okay, so what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then maybe it's just 2 that we don't have in folders. No, it's 3. No, it's 3. So what is that, 27? What did I say, there's 24 here? We got 27.
10 seasons worth of plays.
I love it. So part of what we're looking at is with some of these, we may just do a mini. And what I mean by a mini is that it may just be a...
Sorry. I just think it's cute.
Amanda's over here catching flies.
I am. I think it's cute. JJ says these episodes are going to be 30 minutes long, and his answers to his questions are sometimes 30 minutes long. So we're just going to see. It'll be interesting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So here's our thought process is that for a full-blown, so to speak, JJ the CPA here, It'll be 10 episodes. We're thinking 20 minutes an episode, so let's call it 30 minutes an episode. But 10 episodes. But what we plan on doing is not like 10 episodes for this story and 10 episodes for this story and they're going to be intertwined with each other. We're just, as they're happening, they're going to be released. And we're thinking that we'll just release 3 a week. So maybe we have 3 stories going on a week, so to speak. And then when I say a mini, it may just be that one of them is, 1 or 2 Zoom calls where I'm just able to do it over a Zoom call and help and provide information. The purpose of the reality show, I'm just calling it that because I've always wanted to be on a reality show, but I was thinking that back when I was almost on season 2 of The Apprentice and almost on season 4, So when you say almost, what's that really mean? Who knows? But I was down to top 50 candidates for season 2, top 100 candidates for season 4. I was on the front page of the newspapers when I went for season 2 of The Apprentice. Anyways, that's when I wanted to be on a reality show, was on The Apprentice. And then I've got some friends that have been on the Great Race. Is that what it's called? Great Race? And also on Survivor. Huh?
The Amazing Race.
The Amazing Race. Also on Survivor. And then also on, can't remember the golf one that was on the Golf Channel.
And when you had the Oklahoma one, you have clients that were on the Oklahoma reality show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got clients. That's right. I've got clients. If you go and see Sweet Home, Oklahoma, and then just Sweet Home. So these are clients friends, right? So Angie Olson and Josh Welch, and Jennifer Welch, clients, friends, known them forever. So they have their reality show. Anyway, so when we were putting this together, I was like, well, how would we keep this going? Because I thought we'd just go live for like a week and then everybody wouldn't care and we'd be done going live. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, what else could we do to help people, So the point of the reality show, for lack of a better word, is to then take a set of circumstances with a client. With I don't know what you'd call it. I guess it'd be a client for the show. Anyways, take a set of circumstances, and without revealing too much about their business, we've got to reveal a little bit, or otherwise it's meaningless, right? Now we make up the information if in terms of rounding and fresh financials or whatever, and make it close to what it is. And if you watch like The Profit, they are showing numbers. They're not showing every detail and how much every employee made, but we're going to have to show some numbers. So whenever we go to the next step, I'll be sending out, here's going to be what I'm going to need to be able to be effective. Here's exactly what you're going to need to do. So are you willing to do this? And if the answer is yes, then let's do it. But at the end of the day, it's to show some specifics on how to help some people in their specific situations. But then there's probably a lot of people that, you're just a small business owner. So whether you're doing this product or that service, there's so many common threads to a small business. And what I find in being the CPA for many, many, many small businesses is that, they don't have a boardroom. Who's their boardroom? Their most trusted employee that probably turns on them in 3 years, or their most trusted employee that takes those secrets and starts their own business, right? It's the most trusted employee that once they learn how much money you're making, they just want to make more. And so I just say from the small business owner, the trusted employee is rare to find that you can actually then just as a confidant. And there's just a difference, and I just hate to say it, and I don't mean it in any negative way, but there is a difference between a business owner and then the person that's working for the business owner. Everybody's on the same team and works hard and wonderful integrity, but the business owner, started it with nothing, took out risk, even if the risk is just, I don't have a paycheck anymore, or took out risk to sign a lease or get a loan, even if it's just for $5,000 or $25,000. Yes, Clay, leaders and followers. But with the business owner, having that risk, especially for the small business owner, which is me as well, and I've had up to, Tulsa, Norman, Nichols Hills, Edmond, and Frederick. So at one point I had 5 offices. I just was trying to be accurate. I had 5 offices. I had 13 people working for me. And that didn't include independent contractors or people that were helping or sharing services or whatever. I had 13 people working for me. So I've gone from it's just me and then some interns, and then, I'm in an office the size of a closet to, now I own my own building, right? But I went like this, then the growth, and then went like this. And then I thought I really found that one person that was going to take us to the moon. And then they decided I didn't really want to continue doing this. So then you go back and then you finally realize, I'm just coming full circle. I just want it to be me. I just want this all contingent on me. I don't want to have a lot contingent on those that work for me. Long story short, when you're dealing with that small business owner like me, they understand that, right? They've gone through it, and especially if they've been in business maybe just more than 2 years, 3 years, you've done this, right? Sometimes it's just you lose that customer, you lose that employee. And so with a small business owner, there's just no one in your boardroom. And I hate to say it now, if there's some small businesses, the spouse is right there, 50-50, everybody has their role, works great. And I have a few clients that are like that. And I don't even mean that both spouses are in there working, but you have both spouses that have a role and they're both business owners and they respect each other for what their role is. But then you also just have business owners that, the spouse that they're talking to doesn't work in the business. They're not in the numbers. They're really kind of just paying attention to what comes home. And they're not really the best soundboard. Let me just put it that way. They're just not really the best soundboard because they're not in the business. They don't have a role in the business. So now you have a business owner that's like, they don't have anybody really to talk to, right? Because I have plenty of business owners that if they talk to their spouse, they're going to hear it from a spouse's perspective, not a business partner's perspective. And that would just be things like, should I expand? Or should I let this person go? Or should I take out this loan? Just stuff like that, not keeping anything from their spouse. So they don't have a boardroom. And that's one of the things that the clients I'm working with now, I mean, all the clients I've had now, they've been a client at least 5 to 7 years, if not over 20. And I'm loving it again. That's a process that I took over a number of years. And going into 2020, I finally got where I wanted to be, which was it was just me and a core group of clients. Clients that have been with me through thick and thin. And that's part of what I think I can bring to the table is helping the small business owner. How do they have a boardroom? What is it that they're looking at? Coming up with procedures that are simple, but you're holding yourself accountable. How is it that you talk with the spouse that's not a business owner? Like, what is it that you show them? Everything, but how and when, in what details? Not just some of it, but all of it. How do you do a cash flow analysis that's simple, right? How do you know your numbers? And a lot of it is also, not to plug the book, but I'll plug the book, is from here. How do you deal with your bank? What advisors do you have? How do you need to interact with them? So if I'm able to go and visit with people that I don't know, right? That's the test, right? Okay, JJ the CPA, you say you're good, all right? But you're working with people that are in Oklahoma City where you still ride horses, right? You're working with people that you know. You're in a smaller community. You know all these different bankers. So why don't you, this would just be me. Let's challenge JJ the CPA. Let's see what you got. Why don't you show up in a city that you don't know anybody, you don't know the business, you don't know their advisors, and see what you can do to help that company. Because there are a lot of basics to money, finances, general ledger, where's the money going? And none of this reality show will be a Dr. Phil. None of it. As I don't believe in doing a Dr. Phil, which is, or even a Dave Ramsey. You're not going to find me looking and going, so you're spending this much on that, are you? Do you really need that BMW? Hell yeah, you need that BMW. Why the hell you even have a business? It's so you can have a BMW, right? So it's none of that crap. It's not about a judgment of where you're spending your money. It's a justification of like, okay, well, if you have the Beamer and it doesn't appear you can afford it, then what are we doing here? Make more money. So then the focus is making more money. Making more money. That's really the focus. And I don't even mean you're working harder and now you're going to end up getting divorced because you're never home because you just work hard like a workaholic. But how can you work smarter? So when my business clients have come to me over the years and they're like, I'm not happy with my bottom line. I don't even hardly look at the expenses, right? What are we looking at expenses for, right? I mean, now we're looking at them, right? And maybe we're looking at payroll, and don't get me wrong, I might be looking at payroll and going, well, based on your gross, you have too much payroll. But you know what my next sentence is? Then you need to make more gross because you need those employees, right? We're not here to fire and butcher. What are we doing that for? What you need to do is make more money. How are you gonna make more money? Make that employee help you make more money. How? That's the part we figure out. So even when you read the book, right here, it starts at the top line, every business, top line. Who cares about your total expenses if your top line is not what it should be? Who cares about cost of goods sold if your top line is not what it should be? Who cares about payroll, et cetera, et cetera? Meaning, top line needs to be where it's at. Then you start worrying about the rest. Because if you're not making all the money that you can make, you cannot cut expenses to reach a profitability that you want. How do you do business? I got to make the most that I can make, and then I can make actually best decisions on how much payroll and how much cost of goods sold and how much for the rent, right? Because I can sit with a client with their P&L and immediately look at it and go, too much on payroll, too much on rent, too much on this, based on percentages. But then most could walk away from there, and then the business owner's just like, man, I'm just not doing a good job. What do I need to do? Maybe I should close my doors. No. The reason we look at the percentages of the expenses is we go, then how much do you need to raise your top line that these expenses actually justify themselves, right? Prime example, you take a practice, let's just say a dental practice. Now, we may have some CPAs that practice in the dentistry area, and so they may have a different opinion of this, but in my opinion, outside of the hygienists, of your gross, 10% should be going to the medical assistant, dental assistant, receptionist, billing person, like 10%, that's it, okay? 10% to that. Then when you're looking at your hygienist, depends on what kind of practice you're talking about here, but if you got one doc and you got two hygienists, well, then I probably shouldn't see more than 10% of that gross going to hygienists, which no more than 20%, if not less than that, should be going to those people that aren't dentists, right? So now I'm talking about benefits and taxes all together, 20%, okay? Now that might be a mature practice, right? But that's our starting number. So if I'm sitting with a dentist and I'm like, man, your payroll is 35%, it doesn't mean you need to fire somebody. What that means is you're not doing enough. You're not collecting enough. Maybe you need to be open another day. Maybe you need to bring in another dentist. Maybe you need to work harder. Maybe your billing sucks. Maybe you got someone that you think's working hard, but they're not billing all they can. They're not collecting all they can. Because quite frankly, if you have that much staff, you should be making more. See what I'm saying? So you look at that. That's just a taste of what we be doing. And that's why whoever's going to be on this adventure with us, we're going to need some of that stuff up front. Going to need financials. We're going to need a GL. Not going to be necessarily revealing any of that in the reality show. So that's what that's about. Just taking numbers. It's taking JJ the CPA, but it's taking just fundamental business approach and going into your business, not really wanting to change anything. More, how do you do a better bottom line? Maybe you are looking at some fat. Maybe you do need me to talk with your brother-in-law to say, hey, listen, love you, but you ain't showing up at work. So guess what? We're going to go ahead and pay you, what we've been paying you, but for the hours that you've been working, right? So you're making $60K a year. What's that come out to an hourly rate? You're working 10 hours a week. We're going to pay you $60,000 a year, annualized into what you're working 10 hours a week. So maybe I got to be the black hat. You guys ever seen Bar Rescue, right? Maybe some of that's going to happen. Who knows? We'll see. But if I can help a business in any way that I can, now maybe I'm sitting across from the spouse and I say, listen, this is the things you want to look at. This is the things that got to get done. Maybe the spouse is going to yell at me. Doubt it. Because after 27 years, I've sat in those circumstances over and over and over and over and over. Okay? So when you're looking at a set of circumstances and you have a spouse, and if I can come in and be a part of that, right? And in a way that's encouraging and uplifting and helpful, and this is what it is, and this is what we're dealing with, and here's how you can help, and I don't even mean that spouse is going to work. I don't even mean that spouse has to be supportive. The spouse can approach it the exact same way. If they want to be somebody that's a downer, if they want to continue to be the one that's the doubter, if they want to be the one that keeps their heads out of the clouds, they can keep doing all that. But they're going to have a little bit more of an insight of what the hell's going on in that business. so that when they pull their spouse out of the clouds and they want to continue to be the downer, then do it. That's your role. That's who you married. That's what you want in your life. Great. You need that person doing that for you still. But that person who's doing that, if they had a little bit more information, they might be more accurate on what to pull your head out of the clouds about. They might be a little more accurate on how you should make some decisions. So there we go.
There we go.
You're right. I mean, how's the show going to be 30 minutes? I don't know, because I don't even know how long I went. You started dozing off. Not really.
Nope, not.
Well, listen, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m. And we'll be looking for the emails. I'm hoping tomorrow, maybe the house will have signed by then. And let's see, what was this question? How's the show going to be 30 minutes? It's not. Well, if we go 10 episodes.
Kid Rock lyric time.
There you go.
Card shop said.
I love it. So if you guys would, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then I will be keeping an eye on it. Hopefully you all will too, as we're getting into dealing with, I was going to try and pull something up real quick if I can pull it off. I don't know that I can. Hopefully we're going to be hearing some good news tomorrow. If you haven't watched the videos that I've come up with in the last 24 hours, I'd love it if you did, mostly from the standpoint. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you. Let's see, JJ, CPA. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. Going to this page. All right. Well, we're going to see you all tomorrow. Let's see. We're going to go the next step. You ready? Let's see if this works. I don't know if it's going to work. Here we go. Yes? Yes? No?
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to bring my... Hey, if you guys want a little chuckle, go to iTunes and look for JJ the CPA, and I don't mean on the podcast. Go to the iTunes as in the music. Find JJ the CPA, Money Never Sleeps. You guys will get a kick out of that. Something a little fun. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. All right. Oh. All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you all. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Carol, thank you. Card Shop, John. Let's get 25K subscribers. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. How are you getting a haircut? Amanda's really good with the clippers.
I am.
Let's see. Gene, nope, not until Friday for good news. Thanks, JJ. Tony, Dark Waters. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting one. Maybe some PPP news. Yes. When they're divorced and they're still partners, bring it. I'm loving this, Carol. That's a great idea. Card Shop, love it. Let's see, Mowo, Nicholas, Michael Self. Let's see, what would we do without you? Thank you so much, Andre. No, gosh, it's all one word. But Andre, yes, thank you so much. Gratitude, hearts. This is going to be a reality show I can watch. I love it, Brian. Let's see, how do I disperse FPP funds to subcontractors? Oh, you're not able to, Jason. It's not what it's for. Steven, we need to go over 18 because it was so horrible. It could be 12 we need to go over 18 because it was so horrible it could do 12 shows. I got you. I hear you. Let's see. Sledgehammer to my QuickBooks computer on the show. Ooh, that would be a good one. I like that, Jason. The secrets video was creepy. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was kind of creepy and funny. I want to know how to get a hold of 420 when he made the PPP secrets video. Yeah, it was an app. I'm a dentist, loving this. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Pro Stone, let's see, or Pro Stone Solutions. Paid an independent contractor last year and I don't have the SS. How do I file 1099? Well, it's too late. You'd get a fine for it. So you probably just better sweep it under the rug. You should have sent it by January 31st. So you didn't hear that from me. Let's see, Bimmer Babe, appreciate it. Mike, John P. Let's see, Preach It, love it, Brian. A Gout, John P. Let's see, everybody, thank you so much. Nancy, Fred, Paul, I love it. Porsche, I love your JJ thinking. I do need the BMW. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Accounting office rescue. I'm loving that, Chris. Let's see. Clay, take the show on the road. Yep, and we're going to try and come see you, Clay. Sounding board, Nick B. Appreciate it. All right, I think I'm going up as far as I can go. Thank you so much, everybody. I'd love it if you would subscribe. Ty Mac, thank you. Leroy, thank you. Carol, can't handle it some days. All right, Carol. Oh, and Carol says, bye, Amanda. Fred, thank you. Kid Rock, out of here. Love it, love it, love it. Nicholas, thank you. Sandra, thank you so much. Carol, Prostone, Mike, Elizabeth, thank you. Let's see. JJ, a rapper. You know, actually, I hired somebody. We wrote it, put it together. Jason, thank you so much. John, let's get to, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And, oh, Robert, how are you? Loving every ounce of the content. Thank you for the leadership, love, and inspiration. Thank you so much. Tell your daughter we said hi, and we're hoping to see you down in Florida and soon. Thanks for everything, Robert. Make our day, make it all worth it, all of you. Thank you so much to everybody, and can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great night tomorrow. All right. Love y'all. JJ the CPA, out. Linda, Linda, Linda. I love it. I love it. Gene, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Nancy. I forgot I even did that. I love it. Thumbs up. Rock 'em. Thank you, Card Shop Reality. Bye-bye, Carol. Appreciate y'all. All right, Amanda's waving me off.